The last 12 years I spent with a firm on Long Island. It was a friend of the family. We were friends, through my father. He wanted me to come in and kind of take the company. It was a $6 million company, and he wanted to grow it. He was poised to grow. So I kind of came in, and he needed to take his technology to the next level. So recently we just sold that company for $75 million, and it put me in a position to kind of start my company and move forward with it. So what I kind of, over those years, I kind of was able to cultivate relationships and partnersps through all the various organizations that I work for. And I was able to
today,
negotiate.
sorry. So today you are a, sorry, we got.
I'm so sorry. Yeah, basically today I'm the CEO of Castle Interactive. We provide IT concierge, white glove, CIO support for small to medium-sized businesses, or helping you make decisions that'll help you grow your technology to the next level.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for that. Great. All right, good. So Joe, put your contact information in the chat as well. And similarly,
Absolutely.
Anybody else that's here as well, feel free to your website, any other way that ideally the format would be, your name, well, your name's going to be on there, but kind of like the name of your website, and it's like honestly, like 8 words or less, like what you do. So the media loves that. I'm going to try and put you in a bucket. What bucket are you would be? Oh, okay. And so, yeah, anyway, put that in the chat window. And then before leaving, any session, just click those 3 dots and then click save so that's live there. So, technically, we're scheduled to begin at 6 minutes after we're broadcasting live on the web. So what you want to do is you're going to want to be in the Zoom room for this one. You just go to FameandProfit .com, and then you grab a free ticket. We'll immediately give you the email so that you get the Zoom link sent directly to your email. And then we'd love to have you both for networking and as well, again, if I can help make connections. And then as well, we're going to provide a lot of really good content here. So I just want to make sure you don't get distracted, because we're going to kick off in a few minutes with a quick panel. We're going to talk generally about how to drive massive revenue in the year 2023. I've interviewed over 1,400 people. I'm going to distill that down. And I'm going to tell you, it has I don't want to steal. Trust me, I'm going to reveal exactly what I've learned, because I ask this question consistently. Where do your best clients come from? And man, if that pattern isn't 95% consistent, well, it is consistent, and I'll reveal exactly what that is. So anyone else, come on, you're welcome to be on video right now. We'll let our speakers know if you're on video. I can see you, I can call you out, and I can have you just quickly before we begin in the next 3 minutes. This is your chance. We'd love to hear what you do, who you are. You provide professional services. This is a great audience for that. Herman Simon, good to see you, sir. How are you? Oh, he's muted. So by default in the Zoom room, you'll be muted by default.
Oh, you should hear me.
Yep. Now we do.
Yes. Yep.
Good to see you. Former podcast guest. Great to have you in the room. Appreciate you.
Hi, Josh. Good to see
Derek
you.
Patterson. Yeah, thank you. Good to see you. Derek Patterson, introverted selling. Wonderful niche. Wonderful niche. We got to chat earlier we had 3 amazing sessions this morning that if you want to know about sales skills and sales conversation skills, we had Lynn Whitbeck from Petite to Queen is our kickoff speaker. Right now, if you go and get your free ticket for Fame and Profit, you can go to that play page for day 2, and she's right up at the top. Watch that presentation, because Lynn, you talked about how to generate unlimited referrals. Then we had Amanda Abea talk about like the sales conversation. Really loved kind of talking about, kind of this energy of like assertive versus like passive versus aggressive. And just like really trying to hit that right tone and still be the leader in that sales environment, really valuable. And then Annie just basically just masterclass on objections for an hour, which was a lot of fun. So you can still watch those. Not now. They'll be there. You can watch those ones. Anyone can watch those for free up until midnight tonight. And those will be available for all when you log into FameandProfit .com. Page 2, you'll see those presentations up at the top. Watch those later. The live stream will probably be done around 4 or 5 o'clock. And so, hang out with me. I'm going to be playing MC and DJ all day, including during this session in particular. Good to see you, Greg. How are you? I'm so sorry. You were on yesterday. I saw you, and I just never got to say welcome and have you say hi. I'm going to give you the chance right now. Greg, explain who you are and what you do. Give us the 20-second version.
Yeah, Josh, great to see you guys. I was able to pop in a little bit here and there yesterday, but not much. So I was definitely looking forward to your talk today. So Greg Ballard, founder, CEO of 5C Consulting. We are a people and strategy group. So we help connect strategy to behavior inside your organization and behavior to strategy.
What size organizations, what size companies typically do you work with?
So we can really add value to 100 plus, but we do work with smaller organizations, but typically, 50 is like the bare minimum. Mm-hmm. In some cases, we work with an individual to help them with their executive development and their growth. But that's kind of the sweet spot is over 200, but we have gone smaller down to the 50 mark.
Yeah, excellent. Well, very cool. Okay. All right. Elisa, is there anything? Elisa, our COO. Oh, I'm not even sure she's. Oh, anything else before we get going here? Because we invited.
No, I am so eager to hear your keynote. I know you've seen the notes, but I want to hear the whole presentation.
So, it was my birthday weekend, and thank goodness Mrs. Elledge, my wife of 27 years, was very patient with me. Her birthday's coming up this weekend. So it's kind of nice that our birthdays, it's birthday season right now for us. But yeah, so, just kind of throwing together slides, throwing together notes, kind of like thinking about how can I distill down 1,400 conversations into some significant patterns that are really, really helpful for people. And again, these are 1,400, 6, 7 to 8 figure business leaders. So really, really insightful observations, I think, that are going to be valuable for everybody. So that being said, I think that's it. So before I get to my kind of portion, I've invited a few people. And let's see, I think we start off with Lynn. I'd love to give you a couple minutes. Lynn, you are our opening kickoff speaker today. I'm going to put everyone in mute. And then Lynn, I'd love to, I don't know, can I spotlight you? Yeah, I can. Look at that. All right, Lynn, got you broadcasting to the world. What I've asked each of our, our volunteers, kind of little panelists here, is just to talk generally kind of about, there's your desktop. We could see your, that looked like Herman Simon's desktop. All right. So, but yeah, so I'll just have you, let me see here if I can, I'm going to do that. Let me turn this off. Okay. Now, Lynn, I think you got it. So thank you so much. And so what I've asked each of these panelists to do is just give a quick kind of introduction about what they see working really well. Now, Lynn, I have great value for your take on this, because this is what you have done professionally, and major corporations have hired you to drive sales and revenue. So your lips to God's ears right now. Take it away.
Thank you so much, Josh. And for everyone here, thank you so much for tuning in. This is such an incredible event. Here's what I want to start with. How you position yourself and approach all new relationships should be grounded in worthy intent. This is where you genuinely are interested in the other person. They're another human being, all right? And you're curious to learn more about them, because it is a human to human relationship. When you lead with value and generosity, you demonstrate who you are and what it's going to be like to work with you. And essentially, this is establishing your credibility expertise, and your thoughtfulness. And there are a multitude of ways to give value on your platforms, your websites, social channels, and stages. It could be a free masterclass on how to overcome a challenge or achieve a specific objective. It could be on a summit where you provide training and value, or perhaps a 2-page checklist to implement a new process to grow your prospect's business. Each one becomes a powerful networking opportunity for you to create a spark and connect with new people. And by leading with value and generosity, you're able to rapidly build rapport and establish your relationship. Your ideal clients are looking for solutions. They are seeking you. And when you frame your platforms around your client's perspective, you are able to effectively create value. Thinking like your clients is asking what they want, need, or lack, why it matters to them, what problem are they trying to solve, concern they want to address, or pain point they need to overcome. Bottom line, what's in it for them so they can. Ultimately, people buy the so they can. So they can what? All right, and I always hold this up. Nobody buys an iPhone to make a phone call. It's for all the other things that they get to do. Like tonight, I'm going to be doing Raid Hour on Pokemon Go, and I'm going to do that on my iPhone. All right. So the so they can, it's that dream, it's that goal, it's the what they desire. And applying your client thinking throughout the client journey enables you to deliver a delightful experience. And leading with that generosity and value sets you on the right path for that journey. And soon you reach the stage when your clients become raving fans, providing you with referrals, testimonials, and reviews that enable you to get more clients, shorten your sales cycle, and make more money. These are the ultimate networking opportunities driven by reciprocity from the value you have delivered. And truth be told, this is one of Josh's superpowers. Summits like the Fame and Profit provide the avenue to network, connect, and discover new ways to move forward faster. Josh is one of those rare individuals who authentically leads with value and generosity in everything he does. And I've had the honor and pleasure of knowing and working with Josh for many years now. He is a heart-centered, straight shooter who's solely focused on a win-win. Now, I have to tell you, I was thinking about this morning when I was in the shower, and what was I going to say about Josh, and how could I clearly communicate how truly exceptional he is? And I want to share with you the words that immediately came to my mind: action, structure, community, expertise, fun, competence, process-driven, involvement. And these are only the 8 words that came to my mind right immediately, that just came there. And there's so much more. I mean, I could write pages. And I've not even touched on what it's like to work with Josh and his whole team. They make it so easy. They are truly gifted at what they do and the results delivered. Josh and Up My Influence are part of my strategic referral network. I talked about that in my session. And this means that I wholeheartedly recommend, introduce, and refer my clients and connections to Josh. He delivers a flexible system to establish powerful and authentic platforms for you to increase your authority, rapidly make connections, and to grow your business. And I am truly privileged to be a part of Josh's keynote introduction? Thank you.
Man, Lynn, we did not coordinate that. So thank you so much. It's very, very kind of you to say that. Very, very kind of you. Very, very generous. Thank you so much. David Lindsay, I wanted to just, again, have you on here. Again, you, sir, are the man that brings vitality to the workplace. And not only do you bring vitality to the workplace, but to our community. And you're going to need to unmute yourself. And so I think so. That's me again. Yeah, sorry. Here we go. All right, now you can. Can you unmute yourself now? Thank you. Yep, there it is again. But not only do you bring vitality to the workplace as a professional speaker and mentor and consultant to organizations throughout the globe, you have brought tremendous vitality to our community internally. And again, I just wanted to just invite you for just a couple minutes just to talk generally about, why vitality is important to the revenue generation process and how, maybe in our limited engagement or, just generally this principle of leading through generosity is absolutely the path to creating the success that you want. And I'll get into my editorial stuff later. Anyway, go for it.
I love it. And thank you very much, Josh and the team, for allowing me to spend this short amount of time with you all. Because over the last 3 years or so, everyone's been hit in the guts and they're walking around. They just don't have the energy. They don't have the drive. And that's where the vitality comes into it. My 5 steps towards improved vitality. But more than that is working with you and your team. I'm coming all the way from Sydney, Australia, and I was very limited with my market, and I didn't really know how to expand outside of New South Wales or Australia, let alone all the way over to Costa Rica, to America, to all around the globe. So creating that podcast gave me the leverage to really meet those people. And that's what we discuss. And not only am I sharing with the audience how to create a great company culture, but I'm learning so much from the guests as well. And that is all due to creating that podcast, putting myself out there, to raising the energy of everyone involved. So being able to talk to people overseas, create those relationships of people that I wouldn't have met otherwise. And it's opened so many doors for me and for my business. As I said, the last couple of years, we were just spinning our wheels once COVID hit. There was lockdown and people were feeling sorry for themselves. This is when I met you and met your team. And there it gave me guidance and structure. And not just that, at the drop of a hat with a mobile phone, all the way from Sydney, Australia, I was getting feedback from you guys within a matter of hours. And that's including the time difference. So giving me that platform to go out there has really helped me expand my business overseas, because that's what I'm really looking at doing, is getting my speaking and my B2B course over to the States, because that market is just so big. And over the coming 3 weeks, I've got 4 speaking events. That's just purely due to people that I've met through doing the podcast. And it's been so exciting, and the growth as well.
Holy cow. How many speakers would love to line up 4 gigs just from, again, I'll get very tactical and specific about, in our panel, they're like, what are they talking about? Podcasts? What? I'll explain everything. But it's,
I was jumping the gun a little bit. I just got a bit excited, huh?
No, that's all good. That's great. It's the mechanism by which we're able to be generous. It's the mechanism by which we're able to leverage platform in order to truly serve the world. And I'll get to a couple of things here. David, what time is it there?
So at the moment, it's about 25 past 4.
Well, thank you so much.
In the morning.
Yeah, and you've been up for a little while, so thank you so much.
I've been up since about 2:30.
Thank you so much. Continued vitality. I really, really appreciate you. Fabi Paolini, we just started kind of engaging together, and I really wanted your perspective because, listen, honestly, Lynn and David have known me a little while. I wanted to kind of have someone's like, look, I don't want, you don't have to gush about me personally. Thank you. That was very kind of you guys. But maybe, again, just generally, you have an amazing sales team. You do amazing work. And again, your process is not that slamming the DMs, slamming the ads, slamming, in your face spam. You run your company as a true professional. You believe that the branding and the design speaks volumes about that. I wanted to give you just maybe a couple minutes about why that's so critical to truly growing our business through relationship.
Absolutely. Well, I feel like ultimately, and you guys will hear this in my keynote presentation, basically, I feel like what really makes the difference is creating a brand and a message that is able to attract the people who are ready, like the people who are ready to go. And the people who are ready to go, if you're needy and pushy, it immediately is going to repel them. So what I really feel and believe in more than anything is building those relationships and making sure that people see you as the expert that you are, and having them say, you have the solution to the problem I have. You're going to take me to my vision, to the desires that I have, all these different things. I want to work with you versus let's go, come in. So yeah, that's kind of my vision around that.
That's terrific. Fabi, one real quick thing too, as well, on the importance of leveraging our presence. So making it ridiculously easy to create proximity through presence, photography, design, and hiding out behind your computer and building a business that way. You could do it. It's just a lot more difficult, in my opinion.
But why would you play that small? If, what the world is asking for is for people to humanize their brands, to be able to build connections, to really build, something that actually is able to get your audience excited and get them to move. You're not going to do that behind a corporate brand and a corporate message that tells nothing about who you are, especially when there's a world that we live in with so much competition, so much market saturation. You have to be at the front of your brand and business if you want to be able to grow. That is what I believe. And I think it's not only what I believe. You can see this happening on TikTok, or you can see this happening all over. Brands are the more that the brand is showing up humanized, the more power they have right now.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Fabi, thank you so much. Finally, I wanted to pull up Rudy Rodriguez. Rudy, do I see your video? I see you in the chat. Where are you? You cannot hide. Let's see. Maybe let me.
Hey, Josh.
Oh, there we are. Let's see. Oh, there you are.
I'm literally hiding in the grass. Can you see me? I'm in the grass.
Hang on a second. This will be fun. All right. Deep in the jungles.
Yes, I'm coming.
All right. Well, please be wary of any predators. But yes, from your remote location somewhere in the world, just wanted to give you a couple minutes as well.
Yeah, I'm joking. I just wanted to mess around with those blurred backgrounds. So Josh, I'll be as brief as possible here, but also, contribute as much as possible. I'm just going to do a simple before and after working with you, and as pointing to the benefit I've received in working with you and your team. Josh, before working with you, I found that the only way I could really get in front of the audience that I was looking for, the qualified prospects that I target, which is very specific for my line of work, I had to pay big bucks to go to high-level mastermind events, to get on a plane, take sometimes 3, 4, 5, 6 days off of work, have all the costs, also fun and benefit of going to high-level networking events to get access to the people that I do business with. And it's great, and I enjoy it, and I love it. But I did it because I didn't like the paid ads and the spammy techniques. Like, I wanted to build a relationship. But when I found you and you shared with me the platform that you create for experts, and we started working together about a year ago, I found a way to be able to create a genuine relationship and get in the door in a value added way with the people that I want to connect with, the people I want to build relationships with, people that ultimately will become my ideal partners and clients. And it's been so awesome to have this resource, to be able to be a go-giver, right? You recommend that book a lot, and to just give the opportunity to highlight them on a podcast, to celebrate them, to interview them. and it's been great for business. You know, sometimes it's not direct, by the way. Sometimes it's just having a podcast is a signal of authority, right? And sometimes people don't become clients because they're guests on my podcast, but they see that I have a podcast, right? So I've seen multiple benefits to the service that you've provided me in our company. And it's been great, man. It's just added a whole new dynamic to the way we do business in the market and the way we add value. So thank you to you and your team for all that you do. I highly recommend your service.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I do appreciate that. And thank you so much to our panelists. I wanted to, again, I appreciate the personal edification. Again, not entirely requested or asked for, but that was very, very kind of you each to do so. And so let me share with you some observations that have absolutely confirmed, and I think it's going to confirm a lot of things that you might be thinking about in terms of your business and what it takes to create success. And as well, I think it's going to be very, very eye-opening. I have the distinct privilege to be able to have conversations with 6 to 8 figure business leaders. I chat with about 8 to 10 a week. And I do so through my podcast, The Thoughtful Entrepreneur. I'll explain a little bit more about that. But I'm going to reveal what I've discovered after 1,400 conversations. And again, when I believe that success leaves clues. And if you want, there's ways that we learn, right? There's learned knowledge, there's activity knowledge, there's modeling knowledge. I like modeling knowledge. Modeling knowledge is find someone who has what you want, do what they do, get the same results. So I want to begin by talking about why this is so critical today. You may have been feeling this resistance. And I've chatted with a lot of folks that, of our speakers, like we've had some really high level conversations about the state of marketing today and where it was just a few years ago. And I'll just ask you the question, and this is the audience participation moment in the chat window here. I want to ask you this question. In terms of paid ads, who was around when like Facebook advertising was like really like boom, right? And back then, who else had the experience where it was pretty inexpensive to get a bunch of people to opt in to whatever the thing was that you had? Who remembers that day in the chat window? And how is it different if you got in early? Like I remember like the early days of Google ads too. Like how is it different today? Let me ask you this question. And this is very simple. Yes or no? Are your customers more or less bombarded with ads today? I'm kind of cheating because I got the answer on the screen here. Do you have more perceived competitors? And I put competitors in air quotes. Okay. What that means is there just a lot of noise out there in the marketplace that there's, and by the way, some of it's good noise, but it's noise. There are maybe like 1,000 generic YouTube videos out there of people just giving advice on what you do as a professional. And does that make it more difficult, or maybe it's helpful in some ways, to engage with you? And so do your customers now today, and this is a final question, do they expect to know, like, and trust you before high ticket engagement? Or are they willing to just plunk down $8,000, $10,000 as whatever, automated funnel? Sure, here's $12,000. Can you do that today? Very, very, I think for those of us who are professionals at what we do, the answers are really clear to these questions. We are swimming in a sea of noise. And what you'll find is the higher caliber decision maker, when I say higher caliber, they're just responsible for more budget. They're responsible for more decisions. They particularly protect themselves. I know I do. I suspect that you do as well. You don't have time to engage with every slimy DM that comes into your inbox. Here's the TLDR. The number one thing that will attract you more success in 2023, and I've not found one person to disagree with this when we've talked about this, your high level relationships. We live in a human to human world, bots and AI and all that other stuff. These are helpful tools. Sadly, marketers flock to all good tools until they ruin them. And that's exactly what marketers have done today. All right, so who am I? I've been in the media over 2,500 times. I've had 2 7-figure companies. I've also had a number of companies before that didn't do so well. But that gave me the experience I needed so that I could do okay with Savings Angel, which is my last company, which propelled me to syndication. I've been a nationally syndicated newspaper columnist for 15 years, I've done TV segments in over 75 cities. Today, you can read me in, I think it's like 11, 13 newspapers now across the country. I'm mainly known as the guy who studies and lead on consumer behavior. I obsess on how consumers make their decisions, and I've worked on the good guy side for 15 years, where I've taught consumers how to see through all the BS, how to see through all the smoke and mirrors, and how to be an educated consumer, right? How to make good decisions, right? So spoken for a lot of conferences, Tony Robbins, his online business mastery audience. These were all really, really good opportunities to do what I love to do best, and that's serve. Give the gifts that I've been given and that I've cultivated and serve audiences. I come from the Adrian Cronauer School of Journalism from Good Morning Vietnam, is that you never lie and fake it with audiences. You're always authentic with audiences. You're always authentic with everybody that you do business with. Who I am personally, this is my family. My kids have gotten much older since that one picture in the upper left-hand corner. This is my sweet wife and I, who just celebrated our 27th wedding anniversary. We met at a luau in Hawaii and fell in love, got married after knowing each other 20 days. We got engaged after, got engaged. It wasn't a shotgun. We got engaged after knowing each other 20 days, hung out, engaged for nearly a year, got married about over 27 years ago, and she's pretty awesome. Hey, there's that kid. This was my very first media appearance right here when I was in Kalamazoo, Michigan, and I got invited to do school news. Man, who else loves that flock of seagulls haircut? I don't think I could pull it off today, but that was me. And there's some other things I love up in the upper right-hand corner. All right, I got to give you some good news. You are not smarter than the market. I'm not smarter than the market. For those of you who are struggling with what you should be doing in the world, I want you to know that there is a very, very simple formula for you to be able to solve big problems and be handsomely compensated for solving those problems. Now, the problems you solve need to be bigger than your compensation. Otherwise, it's not a fair trade for your customers. You always need to provide more value than what you ask for. But as long as you can do that, you want to see the test? This is coming out in my book. It's working with Michael DeLon, one of our speakers. So don't take credit for this. I built this. All right. So I don't care. You can do whatever you want with this. But this is going in the book because sometimes we're like, man, am I doing the right thing? Should I be tweaking this? And so we put way too much pressure on ourselves to feel like we got to come up with all the ideas. You don't. Okay. All you need to do is ask the market what they want. And then just say, do I want to do that? And if it's no, don't do it. If you do want to do it, then you need to ask yourself a few other questions. Can you acquire the people and resources to provide it? You're probably going to need some mentors if you've not done this thing really, really successfully before. Okay. Then you need to be certain that you can do it profitably. By the way, if any of this stuff fails, it's a no, don't do it. Right. And then sometimes you can figure out how to do it and then circle back. Do I still want to do it? Because you might not be willing to do what it takes in order to create that thing. And then you also finally need to have extreme clarity on all the risks that are involved. And by the way, if you hit yes on all that and you still want to do it, do it. And by the way, I hope you didn't come up with this idea on the thing to do, because the market should tell you that, right? And so what you want to do is validate, ask your audience what they want. And a lot of times when you're out there just circulating, talking with people, and you have an idea of what you want to do, they might come back and they might say, well, I mean, that's cool and all, but I don't really want an e-course. I'd rather you just do it for me. And you might say, humph, that doesn't sound like easy automatic riches. I don't want to have to work every day. Okay, wait a minute. All right, who said that? All right, here's the thing, right? You can provide what the market wants, and you don't have to do all the work. You could empower other leaders, other entrepreneurs. You could build an amazing team. You could pull together your experts that you know and love, and you can do that thing. But I think the $1 million question is, where does money come? Josh, last month, we only cleared $12,000. I want to clear $50,000. That's my goal. Okay, you ready? Here's the formula. This is where money comes from in an account-based sales role. All right, let me know in the chat if you think, let me know in the chat where I lose you, because I can start over. Or if I don't lose you, then give me a thumbs up in the chat like, yep, this tracks, especially you pros in the room who are rocking it in business, right? Revenue comes from closed sales, period. Unless you got a money tree, you got to close sales. So if you are not happy with your revenue, you got one thing to do. You need to close more sales. And you might not like that answer because of how you've associated how to get there. And you're making it way too hard. I've learned this after 1,400 conversations. Closed sales, where are they going to come from? They're going to come from sales conversations. Again, you might still not like this, right? Because I don't like sales conversations, because of what your idea is of what you think a sales conversation is. What I see a sales conversation is the natural evolution of a meaningful relationship with a qualified buyer. Damn, that's quotable right there. I didn't even say what's said on the screen, but someone please don't let me forget what I just said, because I need to trademark that. So sales conversations are the natural, what did I say, evolution? Something like that, of meaningful relationships with qualified buyers. So this is great news, right? You don't have to push sales on anybody ever again. In fact, I'd ask that you don't do that, because we don't like it. Instead, what you want to do is you want to create more meaningful relationships. That's it. That is it. That is 1,400 conversations asking the question, where do your best clients come from? Word of mouth, networking, relationships, strategic alliances, joint ventures. Far and away, where did I make 6 million plus with Savings Angel? 80-90% of it was through partners. We had media partners, we had affiliate partners, we paid out over $1 million in commissions to our affiliate partners. I wasn't doing any retail sales with that audience. I'm just there to serve, and rely and build and invest into key relationships. Meaningful relationships come with circulating with more of the right people. If you're hanging out in the rooms with not the right people, you need to change the rooms, which you heard some of the ideas and ways that people were doing it previously in our panel. Going to mixers, going to events, going to, these are great ways to do it. But what if there were a way where you could do this consistently and predictably? Okay. Well, then you might be able to not have to spend so much in ads, because Robert Stevens, founder of Geek Squad, said and this is a little ouchy. Advertising is the tax you pay for being unremarkable. Ooh, ow. I'm not saying you should stop advertising. It's the tax you got to pay because you haven't done enough of the legwork. Your network is just not there yet. So what do you want to do? Okay. How many hours? And so then our other option is like, you become that I'm stereotyping here. You become that used car salesperson who is so petrified of leaving the lot that they can't go home and spend time with their family, because they got to be out there hustling. They got to be out there circulating. They can't leave social media. Oh, I have to post more engaging things because who knows, might see it. And that might lead to my one big lucky break. That is a way to do it. Or you could build such an enormous network of amazing people that you collaborate with and joint venture with, and you do content with, and you serve with, and you develop a magnetic way that just attracts your ideal customers in the room. Then you don't have to work so hard. Okay, but what you need to know is that you have no choice, because your customers, investors, centers of influence, and partners are immunized from your scammy, spammy ads. If you're an amateur and you're doing amateur activity, it ain't working. And you know it's not working because you've got the data to back that up. Amateur tactics no longer work. You can't do it. Did it work for a while? It did. And that's why marketers all flocked to it. And then they ruined it. And then Mark Schaefer's done some excellent academic work on this, works with Fortune 500 companies. So why you see advertisements, commercials aren't like commercials used to be. They're all about relationship building. And again, getting to the used car salesperson, is this what you want to be known for? Some of these tools, again, are very good tools. Some of these tactics are very effective, but can they be misused? Can they be used in spammy, scammy, amateur ways? Yes, they can. Are they used in scammy, spammy, amateur ways? More often than not, in my experience. And you know what it's like to get a DM and you're just getting a bot, you're getting a script, you're not getting the real person. And so you don't have to do this. You don't have to be like Glenn Ross, where you just constantly always be closing, always be selling. Wouldn't it be awesome if you didn't have to be an amateur spammer just because someone told you that's just what it takes? No, maybe there is a better way that you don't have to, constantly hit people. Spray and pray. Like in media, that was my background, which is the most ineffective way of getting media coverage, is just, I'm going to blast out a press release to all these media contacts, and then I'm going to be on Oprah, right? Guess what? That doesn't work. And it doesn't work in PR. It doesn't work in sales. Spray and pray it causes so much collateral damage. It's not worth it. Who are my empaths in the room? And if you know what that word is, and you know who you are. Okay, when someone comes at you and they go into robo pitch mode, whether they're in person or online, empaths, chat in the chat box, because I'm one of you. How does that feel? How does that feel when you have a perfectly good human being right here, and they can't see beyond their own damn desperation to stop with their pitch? And instead of engaging with you as another human, they fall back on what that guru told them that they needed to do. And they can't even be human with you in that moment. And you feel like Kristen Wiig here. You were like, I feel like we could have had something special. Not special. I mean, just, I felt like we could have had something meaningful, and this is all I get of you. What a ripoff. You broadcast your intention to your customers before you ever speak. We know what's in your heart. We know what you want. So you got to make a decision at this point. Who do you want to be? What's in your heart? When you wake up in the morning and your first thought is, who am I going to sell to? We know. When you wake up in the morning, you say, I'm going to fulfill my impact, that I know that I have a moral obligation to fill in this world. Guess what? We know. We feel. Consumers have never been more sophisticated. They've never been more savvy. And professionals who you want to engage with, if you trust and you show trust in that relationship, you will not be able to outgive the market. And the fastest path to network up is by leveraging generosity. And so give me a yes in the chat if you know this book. If this book has changed your life like it changed my life, by Bob Burt's called The Go-Giver, okay? And I think it just perfectly illustrates, this one and the green one, Go Giver, Sell More, I would probably hazard a guess are the two best books on sales today. And so this will let you know, this is what I'm talking about here. And so just to recap here, how can you use generosity to build more high value relationships? Because again, that's where the money's going to come from. Your heart's got to be in the right place. You can't fake it. You need to capture attention with sincerity. and some authority. I don't have time to get into that, but people are going to check you out. And I could spend a whole nother hour just talking about authority. That's my background. Okay. You can't look like amateur hour. You got to do just a little bit at a time. You don't have to have all that figured out now, but just, like for example, if you work with us, if that makes sense for us, we'll get that figured out. You don't have to worry about that. But you're also going to need to serve up, and you're going to need to start giving away something that will earn you proximity. If you want someone's attention, you better be focused on them. Also, give me a yes in the chat box if you've ever read the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, or give me a thumbs up on the screen. Okay, it's the gold standard, right? And so if you can truly invest into other people, what's going to happen is your proximity together. This is awesome. This slide right here is so powerful. If you spend some time and you process this here, your proximity leads to familiarity. Your familiarity leads to know, like, and trust. Can you use virtual proximity? Yes, you can. Will people get familiar when they listen to your music? Yes, kind of like me and Huey Lewis when we met in the green room. So I have memories of being at my Uncle Kenny's house and listening to the album Sports over and over and over and over again. So when I meet Huey Lewis, guess what? Huey doesn't really know me, but boy, do I know him. And I'm trying my hardest to play it cool. All right. So instead of all this blah, 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 the amateur stuff, right? What if you spent every week creating 2 to 3 new friendships with high-level business leaders? What would happen to your sales? What would happen to your partnerships? What would happen to opportunities that could come about? Again, just think about expanding your network, your authority, because authority through association, you get authority. You also, your visibility. I mean, when you start collaborating with other people and doing good stuff together, and then think of the inbound opportunities. Raise your hand if you've ever sent a referral. Lynn Whitbeck, have you ever sent a referral? You are the queen of referrals, right? That's what professionals do. Amateurs build their business in scarcity and competition. Professionals reciprocate. Professionals are always thinking of other people. So if you're not 100% happy with your revenue projections, you need to close more sales. If you aren't closing enough, so just to recap here, want to make sure you get this. If you aren't closing enough sales, you need to build genuine relationships with more qualified people. And if you aren't building enough relationships predictably, I can help you. That's what I do. Now, I would like your permission, if I may, and I want you to hold me accountable with some degree of, shall we call it, elegant demanding of me that I demonstrate in real numbers what this could do for you. Now, before I get into that, caveat, disclaimer, I'm a consumer advocate and expert. I will never make income claims. I am going to share stories and I'm going to let you do your own math. Ethically, I will never, ever make income claims. I just want to put that out there, right? But you do deserve to see a little bit of behind the scenes of what we've been doing historically, right? And so I'm going to take about 15 minutes. What I'd like right now in the chat window, please give me a yes, give me a thumbs up in the video. Something says, yep, Josh, please share some numbers, brother. Share some tactics. I'm cool with that. All right, good. Coming in. Thumbs up. Yes, yes. Let's do it. Heck yes. Yes, 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 yes. Okay. Let's talk specifics here. Okay, you may not know what Up My Influence does. For the past 3+ years, we've only worked high ticket. I went from selling with Savings Angel, a $20 a month membership. We work high ticket, and we work with established business owners. We work with professionals, and it's a little pricey to work with us today, but we're really good at what we do, right? You'll see. Oh, by the way, on this, these are all minimum 6-figure business leaders, a lot of 7s, and there's at least 1 8. And I don't know if you found them yet. Too late. All right, they're also here. You may not know who it is, but we work with just amazing people that are very good at what they do. Actually, and today, if you want to work with us at the concierge level, it's a little pricey. And so what that does is that unfortunately kind of boxes us out from 95% of the market, I'd say. And there's requirements as well. We don't work with anyone unless we go through an interview process, because we've just learned you can't work with everybody. Not everyone's a good fit. We have to have culture and values alignment. we have to, they have like our client has to have a high ticket offer already, or they're within 30 days of like, they've already kind of vetted this out. They know what they want to offer. They have to have a pretty established conversion rate. Like they already need to have some sales underway. Otherwise they got other work that they need to do. They need some online authority. In other words, my team and I are going to check them out online. And if they're just too new, we haven't been able to work with. So unfortunately, there's like a lot of people that I get to build relationships. So I'm like, man, that's great. Doesn't sound like we're quite ready yet, but man, when you get to this level, let me know and let's figure something out. I will say, an ability to scale. So in other words, let's say you start landing big ticket sales, and 8K is the cheapest we'll do. Most of our clients are selling $20,000, $50,000 engagements. Some sell 100,000, and at least one of them does 7-figure transactions, and they are landing them with us. So that's, we have a good reputation. We've worked very, very hard to keep our head down. I haven't been running around thumping my chest all over. We've just been doing the good work. We've been in the trenches. And also you need to be able to scale. So if you sell 2, I don't need you capping out. I need you to be able to kind of work with us, because I'm really kind of coming in as your chief revenue officer, and you should have some clarity on who your customer avatar. So historically, these are the only people we've been able to work with, which, by the way, if you're looking at that list and you're going, check, 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 I think I might talk to us. We might be able to hook you up. Like we might be able to work something out here together, which could be really great. But we need to talk about that first. So here's, after years of not engaging, and making this a little bit more accessible, as of today, we are now accessible. And that is through our high ticket introductions coaching system. Okay. And I'll explain what this is, right? And we'll see if this is a fit for you. And so what we're going to do is the exact same thing that we're doing for our concierge clients. The only thing is you need to update your own pages. You need to follow exactly what we tell you to do. Can you connect your scheduling system? Can you follow our advice? Can you design a couple things or go on Fiverr and get that taken care of? If you can, we will tell you everything exactly step by step that we have done nearly 200 times. And over the past 3.5 years, you're going to get our exact templates, instructions, guidance on how to customize every aspect, like everything. We're going to break it all down for you. And because we've done this as long as we have, we've pretty much figured out everything. Like we figured out thousands of mistakes not to make. I can tell you that, which by default, I guarantee you would make a lot of those mistakes. All right. So we need a year of working together. We've really kind of assessed that this is not something we can get done in 30, 60 days. You need a mentor that's going to see you not through to launch. I need to also see you through when you're going to start having other problems with, I'm getting ghosted now. People are saying they want to buy, but then they don't buy. Like those are all problems. Guess what? Our clients have all dealt with those issues, and those are solvable problems. I believe everything in sales is solvable. I really, really do. So in addition to it's not just monthly coaching, we're going to work with you weekly during the first month because we need to get this kicked off. I want to find revenue for you as quickly as possible. Again, I need to be very careful when I start talking about revenue ethically. Okay. But that's our focus is I want to get you profitable quickly. I don't want you wasting your time. You're also going to get a lifetime of support, right? Once you're in the club for life. And it's not just me. It's our amazing, honestly, we learn more from our community at this point, our clients, than I'm forging new ground. It's all crowdsourced at this point. You're also going to be able to join us. So if you like the caliber of people that you've seen, okay, we'll allow you access into that world where we will do coaching workshops. We'll have special workshops for earlier stage business leaders where you have earlier stage questions and problems, including product validation. You are not smarter than the market. You need validation. Otherwise, you're going to waste time. You're going to waste a lot of money. Heavens, don't build anything until you validate it. So also, you're going to get access to our community. Again, historically, we've only worked 6- and 7-figure on up. Those are the caliber of people that we're used to working with, which is why I'm going to explain here again. This is not open for everybody. There are some qualifications we're going to ask for. Also, We're going to provide everything. We've documented every move on the chessboard not to make. If you want to leverage platform, if you want to leverage generosity, we've systematized that. You can't fake it. You can't bait and switch anyway. If you do that, it's a guarantee fail. You will never work with me, period. I want to be very clear on that. You have to have the right, you have to follow the system. You cannot go rogue on me. All right. But we're going to provide the practice guides, the PDFs, the links, the tools, the resources, everything. We've made thousands of mistakes. We have we've misinvested in years past, probably more than $100,000 in just failed experiments, but that's our responsibility. And because we've now learned from that, we know what not to do. And here's the biggest thing. Here's what I can guarantee. Okay, I can guarantee that in 4 months, if you follow our system, right, you will get 10 appointments every month with high-level leaders for the rest of your life. Again, we need to talk about who that is, and we need to talk about your responsibility in that. Okay, it's not magically going to appear overnight. You can't kick back, put your feet up on the desk, and expect nothing to happen. You need to follow exactly what we tell you to do, right? And so, as a bonus, if you decide and it makes sense for us to work together, right, and we decide it's a good fit, right, you are also going to get major bonuses. Okay, I want to get you to $50,000 in sales as quickly as possible. That might sound like, what? It's not that hard when you sell $10,000 products, right? Because at that point, quick math. Okay, if you sell a $10,000 product, how many do you have to sell to get to 50,000? Put the number in the chat window. You need to sell 5. That's it. How do you sell 5? Well, if your conversion rate is 20%, that's pretty normal, right? Then that means 1 out of 5 is what you're going to sell. So if you need to get 5 conversions and you need to talk to 5 people on average to get to each conversion, that means what's 5 times 5? You just need to talk with 25. Now, it might be 10. It might be 40, 50. It could be. It's the law of averages, man. But you have to trust that. That's the market. That's not you. You don't have to worry about being brilliant. You just have to worry about, am I solving the right problem? Am I charging, am I providing more value than I'm asking? Then you'll get it. When you get to 50K, simple math. Thank you for those who, yes, 5 sales. Thank you. Lynn, I was hoping you'd know that number. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to recognize you in front of 100,000. We have over 11,000 PR people we're going to recognize you in front of. What? I'll talk about that in just a second. Why you want that? PR agencies, podcast guest agencies, we have a lot of networks, a lot of things that we could potentially do, but I need to get that momentum going under your feet, and then we'll open up some additional gates for you. And we're going to celebrate you in front of everyone. In this event alone, who has noticed that I love shining the spotlight on other people? Anybody, have you noticed? Raise your hand up or put a yeah. That is our culture. It's always about recognizing other people, because you will not be able to outgive the market. Historically, here's what we've done on average with our clients when they follow our system. Simple as 0 concierge clients. So again, I need to explain a couple things here. Okay. Usually when we build a system, we're going to leverage platform. I'm going to get very specific. We love podcasts. We're not exclusive to podcasts. We just really recommend podcasts as the ultimate networking tool. And I have got a lot of data to back that up with. Okay. But that said, we should probably chat. Okay. Podcasts enable you to generate proximity. They enable you to serve people first without any asks. And then it allows you to see where the relationship goes, right? So if you want more at bats, if you want more people in the room, very simply, you need to build more high-level relationships. And if you do this well, and you do this exactly as we document, there is no reason that you can't. And these aren't just anybody's. These are qualified, these are professionals. The amateurs, just let them keep doing their thing. Okay? They're not qualified and they're not ready for this world yet. Professionals, this is what we do. Okay. And there is this, all this marketing, blah, 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 and gurus, blah, 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 blah. Man, there's this huge underground, all the professionals, we're all just networking together virtually. That's all we're doing. 1,400 conversations. There's 1,400 relationships. And most of them, I can send an email and, hey, Josh, blah, 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 blah. Like that's a good position to be in. So blue historically would be our client's responsibility. They can't, we're not a lead gen company. This is not a lead gen system. This replaces the need to ever do lead gen again. Red is going to be we have access to some things. Again, as a coaching client, I'm not, I need to keep some things for our concierge clients. So we're going to work really hard so that you can fill in what we've been doing. Let's get you to 50K and then we'll kick in some other things as well. But there's some hard work that we do, in relationships that we lean on for our concierge clients. But don't worry, because I can teach you 30 different things that you can do that will absolutely attract in the A-listers into your world if you are willing to give first and then be open to wherever the relationship goes. I can just tell you statistically, about 20% of the time, on average, some's a lot higher, some is lower, depending on what they're offering, but generally 20%, that's kind of what we look for, which would be a part of, our agreement to work together. So how do you get to 9? Yellow, this is it. This is where I have been it was November 18th, 2019, or somewhere around there, within a week, give or take a few days. That's when I told Elisa and the team, stop talking about the podcast. I had 60 people book on my schedule in 1 month alone. I'm like, I have no time. Like, this is fun. This is awesome. Like, yeah, we're getting a lot of sales out of this, but I gotta come on. And so what happened for me is that was about 8 months into our work. Everything you're seeing is something that we created ourselves. We made a lot of mistakes along the way, and we got better at it year after year. But what you want to get at is where you never have to go and do the CEO hustle thing again. You're going to see all the other amateurs, and you're going to be like, yeah, I remember back in the day, I used to have to worry about, my ads, how are my ads performing? I'm not saying you can still do ads, but I'm just saying if that's your only thing, like we're going to create an express lane where VIPs can come straight through and work directly with you. And you do that by leading with platform and generosity. And you're going to be able to take advantage. This is one reason we really love podcasts, is there is a huge gap. Most podcasters, when I say most, it's north of 95% never make it to show 20. It's a great community of good intentions, not fully executed. Why? Because unfortunately, most podcasters teach it's way too much work. We're going to make this ridiculously easy for you. And so we're going to take advantage of a major gap between qualified guests and the lack of qualified, really professionally geared podcasts. So you use podcasts in order to build proximity, leads to familiarity, leads to know, like, and trust. And then lo and behold, all of a sudden you start building all these relationships. And that's where opportunity comes from. And oftentimes sales comes from that as well. So here's my guarantee. 10 high-level introductions, relationships every single month with this system starting in month 4. It's going to take us a little while to get up to there. And you wouldn't want 10 on your first week because you would not be ready for that. But absolutely, we can operate at 50% capacity for a couple of months. Month 4, bam, you're there. And guarantee number 2 is your 100% satisfaction. Like, if this is not working for you, just talk to us. Like, there's no reason for this not to be working. If I can chat with over 40 people a month for the past 3 years, you could do 10. It's not that hard. It's meeting new people is fun. And I'll tell you what, when you show up at work every week and all you have to do is just get to know people, it's pretty easy. And so as far as us engaging, you don't have to worry about buying a big product or whatever, like you don't have to make that decision today. But what I would ask is we do have an interview process, and that's mandatory. I'm just not going to take people into our system unless I know that there's good values alignment and that sort of thing. And engagement with our coaching program is not $30,000. It comes out to, over the course of a year, less than $1,000 a month. So we wanted to make this super, super accessible. If you're in that, you're an aspiring business professional, or you're already doing all right, and, you don't mind, kind of hands-on on a couple of things, or you can delegate it to VAs and stuff like that. We could work with you. So it's $497. And by the way, if you're looking at these pictures of Josh, and you're like, man, there's a lot of Josh in these slideshows. I know. Sorry, it's Josh overload. But yeah, it's $497. And what that will do is I'm going to give you a schedule link here in just a second. In fact, that's Elise, if you could do that as well, it's FameandProfit.com/start and put that in the chat window. And that is really where this begins. And we'll have a conversation and see if I just put it in there. So it's in the chat window right now. But again, it's FameandProfit.com/start. And then there's just simply a zero risk deposit. And then from there, we can have a conversation and see if this is a fit. Obviously, if it's a fit, we would apply that to, what it would be like working for us. Just for applying, very simply, you're going to get access to, you're going to get a free diamond upgrade just for applying. Whether or not this ever works out for us or whatever, I'm still going to hook you up. So we have a VIP and speaker mixer. A lot of people were on to that was a lot of fun. I am all about what do you need? Who do you need to talk to? Who's a perfect partner for you? Who's a client? Bam, let's make that happen, right? Within our community, we may have immediate opportunities. I don't know, right? But we need to have a conversation about that, right? So you're going to get a diamond upgrade to Fame and Profit. That includes the speakers have been talking about. Maybe you're like, oh man, that sounds really good too. You get all of that. Even if we don't end up working together, it's okay. I'm still going to give you all of that just for applying. And again, that's FameandProfit.com/ is it start or it's apply? No, it's apply. Dang. Oh boy, I'm going to get chastised for that mistake by somebody. So here's the right URL on the screen. It is, right? It's FameandProfit.com/apply. That's the link that you want to go to. So when you click that up, let me test my own. Yeah, here it is. This is exactly what you're going to see. For the first 10 applications, we already got one. I get watch dings already. I don't know how you did that, but someone did something. So just for also being part of the first 10, this is what you're going to get. You're going to get a free coaching call with me. And I'm not talking just coaching. I'm who do you need to talk to? Who are you looking for? What do you need most right now? And I'll help you. That's clients. Cool. We'll figure. I'll find out what are the connections I can help make. That's what I do on coaching calls. We're gonna I want to take action. I don't want to give you just a bunch of good advice. And anyone who works with me knows that again. Well, Lynn, you said that. That's very nice of you. I like action. What are our action items? What are we going to do after this call here? Because I need stuff to do rather than just great ideas. You're going to get a guaranteed segment on the Thoughtful Entrepreneur. We've got over 100,000 on social. We'll promote you to. And of course, you get to come to the bonus VIP mixer and kickoff, which is going to take place next week, which again is all about networking. It's all about opportunity. If you are a diamond, we will adjust that and hook you up. If you're a diamond already, we'll make sure everything was equitable at all times. All right. So here is what happens. Let's see, coaching call to review your app. Oh, so here's what's going to happen next. Okay. When you hit apply, you just do a quick coaching call with my team. We're going to review your application. And I'm going to show you exactly what's on that application page in just a second, just so you know what the questions are that we're going to ask you. And then you get to go to the VIP and speaker mixer party tomorrow. I'm going to do giveaways on that one. I'm going to also get the diamond upgrade to Fame and Profit Summit. You get all the speaker gifts that you've been seeing. So if you scroll down the video play pages, you get all of that stuff. And again, our speakers are so amazing. They're all collaborators. They're all generously minded. They are the kind of people that I am honored to show up to work every day and collaborate and connect with and do good stuff together with. And again, the first 10 applications will get my private coaching call and guaranteed promotion to my $100,000 strong audience on the socials and so forth. Okay. And so let me show you what this looks like really quick on this. So when you go to FameandProfit.com/apply, please tell me the name of your company. Especially if you have a website, I want to check it out because I might immediately, I love immediate, oh, you know who you need to talk to is so-and-so. I love that. I'm the guy who knows a guy and a gal. I know guys and gals and I know people, right? I can make those connections and I'd love to. So I need that. So when you and I chat, give us your website. tell us, I want to promote you far and wide. When we have you as a guest on the podcast, just tell me about your company. Well, just here, put your company name and I'll go to your website. If you don't have a website, put your LinkedIn, probably would be the next best thing. We put up my influence here. I tell you what, I'm just going to do this. Here's my first name. Don't you do this, but I'm doing it just for our benefit. All right. And then put a phone number in, 407. I think if you call this number, it goes to a local law firm. So don't call it. 407. So then I go to step 2. And then this, just want to make sure this does exactly what it's supposed to do. Yeah. So it's just $497 today. Again, zero risk on that. If it doesn't work out, don't worry about it. Like, we'll hook you up and take care of that stuff. But you don't need to worry about that. Basically, we just want to make sure that I don't want to open this up to everybody as well. Like, those who are pretty serious about this, let's have a conversation. My team is awesome at what they do. I have a team of nearly 30 strong. We've been doing this for a long time. We're very, very good at what we do. And here are the questions that I may ask you. Let me see. I may have already. Hey, Elisa, can you do me a favor? Can you grab that survey or Rudy, if you've got that, can you put that in or somehow get that to me, that DM that to me, because I want to just show what's on that survey screen really quick. Oh, no, I got it. Here it is right here. I beat myself to it. Oh, no, it's because I already took the survey. Hang on a second. Tech guy would tell me, hey, Josh, open it, right? Justin?
Hey, Josh, open it in an incognito window.
Incognito window.
Sorry.
That's perfectly it. Let's see here. And then I just have to open this up right here. Is that it? Can you see this? Where it says my influence coaching app? Okay, good. Yeah. So, okay, full name, email address, number, and then right here, please rank this. Well, I need to know what's going on. What are the things that you need most to succeed and achieve significant results in your business? Totally fine. There are no wrong answers in this. To have more systems and processes to handle anything in my business. Like, if you're like, man, I'm doing way too much, and I need smart systems, prioritize that. You can either use the click and drag, or you can use the number to be respected by others and recognized for what I'm accomplished. Nothing wrong with that. People love significance. That's another reason why this system works so well, is because I'm willing to shine significance on others day after day after day after day. I love that. And I get to do what I do best. And then finally, to have a deep connected relationships and belong to a community. Again, no right or wrong answers. Don't feel like, oh, I bet he's looking for no, it's okay. Like, I need to know what's accurate for you. And then the greatest challenge in your business right now, please just be frank with me. If it's cash flow, I need to know that. Because that's going to inform me and my team on where we need to prioritize our activity. And listen, there's nothing wrong with cash flow. Cash flow issues are very common for business owners. Like, anyone who's been in business for that's a part of every story. At the beginning, you are going to have cash flow issues. Those are solvable. How? Close more sales. How? Meaningful relationships. How? More at bats. It's simple as that. So I'm going to work as your chief revenue officer. What are your business goals and achieves? What do you want to accomplish in the next 6 to 12 months? Go ahead and jot that down on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the highest. How motivated are you to achieve your goals? I'm not going to lie. This one's a little important for us. I'm not going to tell you where you should be. I'm just pointing that out. If you answered less than a 10, and this is really important. Like, if you're less than a 10, that's fine. What's going on? Just tell us, because again, I can help you the more transparent you are with me, and the more that my team and I could truly be who you need us to be to accomplish the goals you've always wanted to accomplish, the impact that you want to have in the world. We can do that together. Tell us about yourself and who you are as a person. What are your values, vision, mission in life? Tell us about your career. What's your background, experience base, and skill set? Why did you apply? What particularly attracted you to this? What's resonating with you right now? What's in your heart? And finally, second to last here, what things in the offer spoke most to you? So, as I was going through, here's how we're going to work together. Which of that you're like, oh man, are you kidding? If I could get that, Yeah. So tell us what that is and how do you feel it would help you overcome maybe a current challenge that you're dealing with? Most of the people that I talk with, they're like, yeah, I'm just not talking with enough people. That might be your thing. Maybe it's something else. Maybe you have a real problem with staffing or something like that. Those are all solvable problems. And then if this were a fit, are you willing to invest into accomplishing those things? And that's kind of a yes, no, and then you're done. And that's pretty much it. And so what I need to do now is just give us just a quick break. And this is where, no, am I on not the right, let's see right here. I go to this one right here, back to my slideshow. So I love having tech people in the crowd.
Josh, while you're doing that, let me jump in for a second because someone asked for facts and figures. Listen, everyone, I've had my own business for 30 plus years. This was the smartest, best business decision I've ever made. After joining Concierge, my income, my revenue went up 375% as a result of what he just showed you. Smartest thing I've ever done. And I do a lot of marketing. I own a brand development and training company. This was a no-brainer. I just wanted to share that, Josh.
Well, thank you. And again, it's here's the thing. Again, I talked about this. When you are truly out there just doing that was very, very kind of you, Jerry. I really appreciate it. And I respect your position, your success in business. I value this. So thank you so much. I appreciate that. So to your point, I've been a consumer expert for 15 years, which is why we go through an application process. I'm never going to be one of those gurus. Anybody buy. I'm just not I love right fit and I love engaging. I love locking arms. Thank you so much, Jerry, for your kind words. And so next, I'm going to put some music on. We're going to take 10 minutes. Go ahead and take care of the application. Go ahead and schedule with the coach. After you put the deposit, hang on a second. That's some good music, but hang on. After you do the deposit, then the application, then you'll just schedule 20 minutes with the coach.
Josh, let me say one more thing because you didn't say this. I got to emphasize this. This is about meaningful connections and relationships that convert into buyers. That's the key. He talked about it a little bit at the beginning. That's what they do.
Well, thank you so much. And on that note, it's application time, and we'll go ahead and put this sweet sounds of smooth jazz on from this royalty-free YouTube video. There you go. That's what we're waiting for, that little ding, ding, ding right there. Thank you everyone for getting your applications in. Again, just to reiterate, application and then or the deposit application, and then we'll chat. And then again, our program, it's going to work out to under $1,000 a month if we decide to work together, and we're going to do some great stuff together. I'm really looking forward to it. Really excited for folks that we get to work with. Rudy Rodriguez, you are our speaker because we're going to go right into sessions. And what a great,
Josh,
yes, Elisa.
Can I interrupt for a minute?
Yes, of course.
Could you please make Pamela like an admin or something so that she can talk direct message in Zoom here?
Oh, yeah. We've had quite a few. As a co-host, you can't do that. So anyway, I will do that. My apologies.
No, I can. I'm talking about Pamela.
Okay, Pamela Holt. No,
Yes.
Pamela.
Holt.
Oh, okay, great. Okay, making a co-host.
Okay, thank you very much. Sorry about
let me make sure you can unmute here, can chat with everyone and anyone directly. Let me get that. And then here we go, Rudy. Now you should be able to unmute yourself.
Hey, Josh, can you hear me, sir?
Yes, absolutely. Good. Thank you so much, everyone. Hopefully that hits exactly where it needs to hit for you. And I'm so excited for the collaborations of work we're going to be able to do together. And I can't wait to chat with you on the coaching calls following the application as well. Rudy, take it away.
Excellent. Great, sir. Josh and everyone here, did you know that studies show that people who participate in groups that meet regularly, at least once a month, oftentimes more frequently, they get the equivalent benefit of increasing their happiness, equivalent as if they were to double their income. Did you know that? Pretty cool, right? Yeah, there's a lot to be said about having support groups. And I'm going to do a quick audio check because I want to make sure that this is communicating. Lisa, could you hear me? Okay,
absolutely.
Excellent.
Yep.
Wonderful.
Good. And I just spotlighted you too.
All right, wonderful. Hey, you. Nice to see everyone. Nice to see you, Josh, and the participants in this room. I have a quick survey question to ask. I'm curious, and I know the chat. Josh, can we go ahead and unlock the chat now? Can we open it up to everyone? I know we had it paused.
It's good before. Now.
Okay, wonderful. So I'm curious, put a 1 in the chat if you could resonate and relate to what Josh was saying in this keynote, that you do not want to be a spammer and you're committed to being a professional and getting high quality conversations happening on a regular basis. Put a 1 in the chat if you could, like, yeah, that's me. I resonate with that. I am not a spammer. I am a professional and I want to have more consistent, high quality conversations. I want to be a go-giver. I want to move my business forward in a way that adds value and contributes to others as well. All right, I'm seeing ones that are coming in the chat. I see Will put a 1, Arthur put a 1, Cheryl put a 1. Josh, you voted for yourself. Great job. No, Josh, all the way, 1 all the way. You wouldn't be congruent if you didn't, right? Richard put a 1. Todd, coming on his iPhone, put a 1. And I see Jesse as well. Elisa put a 1. Denise put a 1. And Will says Josh's methods are genius. Great. Put a 2 in the chat if you're in the wrong seminar, if you're in the wrong place, and it doesn't matter what I say or do, you're not going to interact with us. Okay, is there anybody who's in the wrong place? Okay, no. All right, so I'm going to assume everyone here is in the right place. So my name is Rudy Rodriguez, and I'm the co-founder of Wingman Coaching Worldwide. And what we do is we work with small business owners that have education programs that really make a meaningful difference in people's life, create meaningful results in their lives and their businesses. And we help them increase their enrollments into their high-end education programs. So we've been doing it for over 7 years. We've accounted for over $50 million in coaching, education, mastermind type program sales in partnership with our partners. And in that experience, we've learned quite a few things, right? When it comes time for people to move forward in their life and business, they have to make a change, right?
The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Right? I think Albert Einstein gets credit for that quote. And so what is the common thread between all these companies and all of these clients and everyone that move forward? They're changing. Nothing ever stays the same. You have to change, right? You either got to grow or you're going to go backwards. So here's my agenda, right? My agenda is over the next roughly 15 minutes or so, 15 to 20 minutes, I'm able to add as much value to you and your business and your life. But in order to do that, I need to request participation, audience participation. And the first thing I'm going to ask for is to ask everyone to turn their cameras on, because we're actually going to be interacting here. Guess what? I have less than 3 slides. This is going to be fun. But in order for me to move forward, I need to see cameras on. I promise you're going to enjoy this and you're going to find tremendous value from this interaction. So let's go ahead and get the cameras on. By the way, if the camera's not on, you don't get to play. So I'm going to give you, to go ahead and give another couple minutes. I see. Thank you, Greg, for coming on. Angelique is coming on. Cheryl, Lynn, nice to see you. Will, you called it CMO Bros, right? I love the tag, man. You're very congruent with that. That was awesome. Chris, good to see you again. Mr. Chris Colts, good to see you. And Arthur and Sabrina and Denise. And I see some people in the shadows. Justin, Jesse, Brad, Kimberly, Richard, Joseph, Simone, Ruth, Deborah, Tamika, Pamela, Dan. This is the last call. Please come out of the shadows. If you don't come out of the shadows, you don't get to play with us. This is going to be fun. We're going to have a game. All right. So if you're in the shadows, I'm sorry, you may not get to play. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to do a sensory acuity exercise. Okay. And this is going to involve you being present and getting engaged. Okay. In order to do this, we are going to partner people up and we'll all stay in the same room. So this is going to be a little bit kind of fun to observe, but I'm actually going to pair you up, but your camera has to be on. I'm going to pair up people with their cameras on. If your camera's not on, I'm not going to pair you up with anybody because I have no idea if you're actually there. So this is what we're going to do. Okay. I'm going to say your name. I'm just going to, based on you, I'm going to say 2 people's names at a time, and you're going to be partners. So lock eyes with each other, maybe start a private chat with each other, because you are going to get to be partners in this exercise. Okay. All right. So Denise and Sabrina, you 2 are partners. Okay. You guys got each other. Give me a thumbs up. You see each other. Okay. Awesome. Okay. Arthur and Angelique, you see each other. Okay. Yes. Okay. Great. Excellent. Greg and Cheryl Lynn, do you see each other? Greg and Cheryl, are you able to connect? Greg, okay, I'm not seeing a response from Greg yet. Cheryl, are you there? Okay, there you go. I saw the lag. Okay, thumbs are up. Will with CMO Bros, you and Chris Colt, you guys are partners. Chris, give me a thumbs up. You guys got each other? You got communication. You see each other. All right. It might be a lag. I'm going to assume, yeah, there might be a lag on mine. That's okay. Okay. And then Jesse, you kind of fill in with anybody who may not have a partner. So this is what we're going to do. Okay. You actually, Jesse, you go with Josh. I see Josh doesn't have a partner yet. Jesse and Josh. All right. You guys are paired up. All right, here is the game. Okay, this is fun. You gotta tune in. You gotta pay attention to what's going on. Okay, look at your partner right now. Okay, just look at them. In fact, take a moment. Let's all stand up and take like a step back from the frame so that you can actually see each other, kind of from the waist up. Right? You don't. Hopefully you're wearing pants. If you're not wearing pants, stay sitting. Just kind of take a look at each other from the waist up and look at your partner and just kind of observe them. Right? Observe them. Notice what you notice about them. See what you notice about your partner. So take a look, just kind of scan them. What are they wearing? What color is their hair? Do they have jewelry on? Like kind of just tune into them. All right? Take a moment. Take a look. Have a study. Yes. Okay. All right. Okay. So you got it. Okay. So now I want you to everyone, turn around from the camera or go off frame. You can turn around or go off the frame. And I want you to change 3 things about your appearance. 3 things, okay? That's the only rule. Change 3 things about your appearance. You got 30 seconds. Go and come back. Go ahead. Go for it. All right. 5 seconds, come on back. Now look at your partner, okay? Look at your partner and they're looking at you and see if you can notice those 3 things. Don't say anything yet. Don't say anything yet, just pay attention, okay? All right, now in the private chat, chat your partner and list the 3 things that you think you see right now. Go ahead. Go ahead and do that with each other. Okay, all right, okay. So we got our 3 things. All right, so now, by the way, I just made me spotlight, which is fine. Just keep an eye on your partner. So figure out how to be able to see your partner. Got to stay tuned in, okay? All right, show of hands, raise your hand. And you can use your digital hand. You can use the reaction. Let's do one of these. Just raise your digital hand if you caught all 3. If you saw all 3, raise your digital hand. If you saw all 3. All right, see, hands are coming up slowly. Waiting for the hands to come up.
Man, I love Arthur. Such a badass.
Yes.
We're all here to win, man. This is a win group right here.
Good. Okay. Josh, can you hear me right now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, put the hands down. We're going to the next step, okay? Now, let's see how creative we can get here. Now, go off the camera or turn the camera off, whatever you want to do, and make 5 more changes. 5 more changes. I'll give you 1 minute. Go ahead and do that now. 5 more changes. Go ahead and do that now.
Oh,
I love the creativity. It's coming in. Excellent. Some good creativity. Okay. All right. We'll come back in the room. So now take a look at your partner in the private chat. Go ahead and start listing off what are the changes that you see. And be fair to your partner. If you've made the changes, make sure they're in the frame. So stand up. Don't put them under the table. Go ahead and put them in the chat. See if you can, yeah, anything. All right. See if you can catch that. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Now hands up. Put your digital hand up if you found the 5 additional changes. Put your hand up if you found the 5 additional changes.
What do you got, Greg? Ah!
Yeah, you can go back and forth in private chat until you figure it out. Yep. Nope.
I have a pencil in my ear. Don't forget my pencil in my ear.
By the way, I got to take a screenshot of this. This is probably the best screen. This is the best selfie. All right, everybody say hi for the selfie. There we go. That was the crowd selfie. Excellent. All right, so I can see not all the hands are up now, right? It's a little more challenging as we do more and more and more, right? All right, so last round, okay? This is the last round. All right, go off. I'm going to give you a minute. Go off the frame and make 20 more changes. Go ahead. 20 more changes. Ready, go. I'm just kidding. Come back. We're not doing this. Okay, so here's the lesson.
Good.
Here's the lesson, okay? I invite you to tune in to what your experience was. By the way, this was not actually a test in sensor acuity. That was a disguise. This is actually a test on how you respond to change, okay? Or the request to change, right? So I invite you to tune into yourself and tune in and go ahead and put in the chat, how did you feel when you were asked to change? When you were asked to make change, what was the dialogue in your head that you had? What was the feeling that you had maybe initially for 3 changes and 5 changes and 20 more changes? Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, put that in there. Like, what? Yeah, put it in there. Jesse said irritated. Chris said it woke him up. Let's see. Should have changed my screen. Yeah, this is an idea. You felt some urgency all of a sudden, right? Okay, guys, can put it in the chat. Let's keep it down. What was your experience like? Let's see. Excited, yes. I love to play. And 5. I don't have. So the thought I don't have 5 things. Okay, great. The thought I want to win came up in your experience. Great. This is stupid. Great feedback. Literally was telling myself, yeah, okay, this is stupid. I bet you the people in the shadows are probably thinking the same thing. Great. Confused on what else to change. Laugh out. Yeah, confusion sat in. What else? What else came up for you? What was your experience? Not being judged by getting it wrong. Okay, that's good, Cheryl. What else? What else is your experience of being asked to make these changes? 3 changes, 5 changes, 10 changes. What else? What else came up for you? Okay, fear of not doing it fast enough, right? Fear of not enough, right? Not good enough, not fast enough. Who can relate to that in their business, right? Show hands, whoever feels not good enough, right? Yeah, and yeah, it's a human thing. So this is what I'm actually gonna now give you my 3 slides. Okay, you ready for this? This is my big reveal on my 3 slides to bring it all home into the 7 change dynamics. So here's what happens. By the way, congratulations on participating. Those of you turn your camera on, well done. Congratulations on being engaged, being a participant and playing full out. That's where the value's at. You are generating the value. Josh is facilitating, you're generating. So congratulations on being here and playing. So let me see, I'm going to show my screen. Josh, can you give me a verbal feedback? Let me know you can see the screen, please.
I can see your screen along with the PowerPoints on the side too. So it's the composition PowerPoint.
Okay. And so you see the PowerPoint, and I'm going to switch it over to present mode. Do you still see it?
Yep.
Okay. So I'm going to give you start off with a quote. Okay, and Josh, can you still see it? My computer's being a little goofy. Can you?
You're good.
Okay.
Yep.
And you can see it now still?
I can still see it now.
Perfect. So it's working on your end, it's just not working on mine, which is fine. So here's the quote. So the quote is by Eric Hoffer. In times of change, the learners will inherit the earth, while the learned, aka the people who don't want to change, in the shadows, cameras off, they find themselves beautifully equipped to live in a world that no longer exists, right? And I would argue that what we've seen in the last 10 years, many people say it's been radical change with the iPhones and the internet and SpaceX and all sorts of amazing technology. I'd argue the blockchain, that the next 10 years are going to be 100 times more change than we will in the last 10 years. Right? It's exponential, right? And so this is a time to really tune into, how do I manage change, right? How do I actually deal with change? How do I make sure that I am the learned that a learner that inherits a new earth, new opportunity, not the learner that wakes up like, where am I? What's the business opportunity? What's going on? All right, so I'm going to switch slides. Josh, let me know you can see the new slide.
All good, Rudy.
Okay, so managing complex change. I'm going to go through this briefly because I'm going to go to the next slide pretty fast. So bottom line, if you have a business and you're going through any kind of change, right, you're going to deal with, you need these items. You need to have a clear vision. You got to have a skill set that is first class, right? You got to know what you're doing. You got to have proper incentives within your business, within your company, not only for your team, but also for your customers, your affiliates, etc. You got to have, obviously resources, employees, money, time, etc., and a clear action plan. If any of those items are missing, you're going to have some serious issues. If you lack vision, you're going to have confusion. If you lack skills, you'll have anxiety. If you lack incentives, you'll experience resistance from yourself, from your company, from your team members, from your employees, etc. If you lack resources, you'll experience frustration. All right. And if you lack an action plan, you'll be on a treadmill going round and round and round and round and round. All right. And I'm switching slides here to get to the 7 dynamics of change. So when you're asked to make a change, and I saw many of these in the chat that you put in already, right? These are the 7 things that oftentimes will come up. 1, you might feel awkward or uncomfortable, right? There are people who's like, oh, I'm afraid to feel awkward, not good enough, what people are going to think. Hey, it's totally normal. That's just what happens. That's what happens. We're asked to do new things, right? You might feel isolated or alone, right? You may feel that you can only handle so much at any one time, right? I already have so much on my plate, full plate. I'm already working with this coach. I'm already doing this. I'm already doing that. There's no way I have room to work with Josh as a coach or launch a podcast. No way. Hey, I feel you. I literally felt the same way before I started working with Josh, because I felt like I could only handle so much at once. But that's a normal part of needing to change, making changes, right? It's natural, it's normal. Tend to look at the negative first, right? Oh, it costs too much. Oh, it's going to be too much time to implement. Oh, I don't have whatever. Like, what's the negative? Oh, it's going to take 8 months before we get to what we need. So I'm not going to do that. I'd rather just run paid ads. That's a bias. And if you have that thought that came up for you at all during the presentation, either Josh's keynote or the game that we played, that's okay. It's normal. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. There's nothing wrong. The thought that you don't have enough resources, money, time, etc., right? I don't have the time, I don't have the money, whatever. That is a normal part of change. We'll all be at different levels of readiness. Josh shared the difference between the concierge program and the coaching program, right? The concierge program is for people at a specific level of readiness, and the coaching program is for another group of people. And it's okay. Wherever you're at is okay. And in fact, that's why he created the coaching program, is to meet you where you're at. And then at the end of the day, we often revert back to old habits, right? Many of you, I'm going to argue, will leave this event with some great ideas, some great insights, and you'll go try to do it on your own. But we're creatures of habit. And unless we put something in place to prevent us from reverting back to old habits, we're like rubber bands. We'll come right back to where we were, right? Which is why it's so important to have that support, to have the coaching, to have the ecosystem, the environment that supports you in developing those new positive habits that'll get you the results that you're looking for in your life, in your business. Okay. So I'm going to pause there as far as slides. Those are the 3 slides. I'm going to point back to the story that Jesse shared at the beginning of day 1. And I don't think everyone got a chance to hear it. So I'm going to just briefly review it. The story is called Change or Die. Okay. And in 1993, there was a company by the name of Mutual Omaha, an insurance company, that did a survey. They interviewed about 333 people that had a terminal diagnosis from their doctor. The doctor went to him and said, Josh, you have to change your lifestyle, or gosh darn it, you're going to die soon. Or you may have to have a critical open heart surgery or some kind of serious, expensive, painful procedure that you might die from. So please, Josh, change your lifestyle. Okay, put a 1 in the chat if you heard that from your doctor. You would be like, yes, sir, yes, ma'am, absolutely, 100%. I will change my lifestyle. I do not want to die. Put a 1 in the chat if you would respond that way. And I know some of you already know where this is going because you were on the call on Monday, but go put a 1 in the chat. Go ahead, participate with me, please. Play along. Put a 1 in the chat. Yeah, Sabria. Yeah, Sabria, thank you. Okay, all right. How many other ones? Will puts a 1. Elisa put a 1. Are you telling me that everyone else you wouldn't change your lifestyle? There we go. Okay, Josh, 1. Chris, Colt, thank you, sir, 1. Yeah, you would think so. Angelique, Joseph, excellent. You would think, I would too. If a doctor told me at point blank I had to do that, I would change my lifestyle. At least I think I would. But studies showed, they went back to this group a year later, and less than 7% of people actually made the change. That's insane. So thankfully, they figured out how to help these people, and they hired Dr. Dean Ornish, who's a world famous physician, to come in and create a program for them, that community that gave them the coaching, the accountability, the support they needed to meet on a regular basis, on a weekly basis, right? And supported them over the course of the next 12 months. And they came back and studied these people, not 12 months later, 3 years later. 3 years later, they came back and looked at the changes people made. And what percentage do you think of them not only made the change, but kept the change 3 years later after having that support? What percentage? Go ahead and put it in the chat. Put your best guess. Best guess. No wrong answer. Okay, 13%. Yeah, that's higher than 7%. Yeah. What else? Way to participate, Cheryl. What else? Go ahead. Give me a couple more guesses. 17% says Chris. Angelique, 25%. Yeah, much better than 7%. Excellent. 77%. The vast majority not only made the change, but kept the change after 3 years. What was the difference? It was the support they had. It was the coaching. It was the education. It was the expert that was able to guide them. It was the community, right? Remember the wow statement I opened up with? That because they were able to meet regularly, their quality of life, their happiness, their joy was increased by the equivalent of doubling their income just by having the support. And they didn't die, thankfully. So what's the solution? The solution is get support, get into community, get coaching, right? There's no other way of saying it anyway. You heard Josh say on day one, maybe you didn't, but I heard you, Josh, say you have a coach. You have many coaches. You consistently invest in coaching. Yes.
I don't want to do this thing on my own. Are you kidding? Or do you YouTube? Or you can, not when it comes to business.
Exactly. Yeah, same here. And I believe anybody here who has had any level of significant success would say the same thing. And that is the solution. Do not leave this event without getting some support. I am a client of Josh, and I highly encourage you, if you really resonated with Josh's message in the previous conversation, take the next step, apply, put the 0 risk deposit down. Literally, you have nothing to lose and everything to gain by putting that down and having a genuine, authentic conversation with Josh over the next couple of days. So Josh, I want to say thank you so much, sir, for the service that you provided to me and our organization. It's been wonderful working with you and your teams. You guys are world-class, and I'm grateful for the opportunity. So
I didn't mention this, Rudy. I failed to mention. Of course, you always fail to mention everything. But yeah, the under $997 is a summit only thing. Like that price goes up for coaching just regardless. So that was probably an important point. But we've had some great coaching calls already scheduled. I think I just saw Denise in here and others. So really, really excited for everyone who's getting going with us. But yeah, no, there's a major hookup that is summit only specific. It works out to much more than that, even at the coaching level, just for the amount of work and coaching that we need to do. So anyway, just thought I would throw that important bit of information in here 45 minutes afterwards.
Yes, do not procrastinate. See, here's the tendency that I've learned, and I'm including myself in this. I put off making a decision as long as I possibly can until I have enough incentives, logical and emotional reasons to do it sooner than later. Don't miss out on the event special opportunity to get this great deal just for putting on your deposit. And if it is a fit, working together and, getting that preferential pricing. So congratulations, those of you who have applied. And Josh, thank you again for the opportunity to be a speaker here today.
Absolutely. Rudy, thank you so much for that. And again, just a reminder, we do have a VIP mixer, which again, just for applying, you get access to that plus the $10,000 in speaker goodies. Totally up to you. We'd love to have you. I would love to lock arms with you. Let's do great stuff together. And again, I put the link in the chat window. It's FameandProfit.com/apply. You don't have to worry about like making a lifelong decision today. It's just the application, just to have the conversation. That's about the only decision you need to make. So it's kind of like atomic habits, right? Like that's how I ran a marathon. It wasn't me deciding, I'm going to go out and run 10 miles today. It was, yeah, probably will. I don't want to. But what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to put my running shoes on. And so if you want to go to Hawaii, buy the Hawaiian t-shirt. If you want to run a marathon, buy the marathon registration, and you'll probably create great things. But you can make the decisions along the way as you go. But it's like those little micro decisions, just gaining momentum in that right direction. So, well, great. So what I'm going to do now is we've got our next presenter. This may take me just a second to find, but David, whom you saw he was 3 a.m. his time, kind of did a quick intro before my keynote, which I'm so grateful for. This guy is fire. And what he does, and I probably have a little intro here, but he brings vitality to the workplace. And whether it's about you just having vitality day to day, or you want to inspire that vitality among the people that you work with, I mean, it makes all the difference in the world. The energy that you carry, your attitude, and so forth. So thrilled to present presentation. Well, I am so excited for this session because if you listen, my energy is a little bit of an acquired taste. Either you like it or you're like, whoo, boy, that guy's a lot. Now, if you like my energy, boy, do I have a great speaker for you right now, because David Lindsay takes my energy and you just feel, David, people see you on stage. You're a featured keynote speaker. You work as a top shelf consultant for amazing companies. And the work that you do is that you help invigorate that passion and, in your word, vitality in the workplace. It's been a pleasure to work with you, David. We've done some great work together, just in terms of creating business together, and introductions, and just making the world a more a place that has more vitality in it. And what a great place to start with, the places that we call work, that our business is. And so leaders, what you're about to watch will absolutely transform the culture and your day-to-day, because as a leader, as a CEO, as a founder, like if you're in that role and you show up and it just doesn't feel like people are there because they're punching a clock, they're just there for the paycheck, that's tough. That's tough to show up to that every single day. Wouldn't it be awesome if there was an energy within your culture, within your workplace, where people, you could tell they were passionate to be there because what they felt, that what they do with you, it matters, and they're excited to be a part of that. David Lindsay, you've got an amazing presentation. I've got you on screen right now. Anything you want to say before we get to your presentation?
It's just, thank you very much for this opportunity. I'm super excited to share my 5 steps towards improved vitality with your guys, because I've truly lived and breathed it, and it makes a world of difference. Because you, as you said, you can walk into work, punch in, and then walk out, punch out, and your productivity is only going to be at best. Or you can come in with energy, you pump in, you give the high five, and you go. Not only is your work more productive, but you enjoy it more. You enjoy being around the people more. You create that teamwork. And that's what this talk is all about. So I'm pumped up and excited to give this to the listeners.
All right, leaders, listen up, because it kind of, a lot of this starts with you. So David, we'll get to your presentation. Take it away.
And enjoy. When's the last time you came to work up, punched in the face? As a former cage fighter, I get punched, I get kicked, and I get wrestled on a daily basis. And I mean the real type of wrestling, not this WWE sort of stuff, yet I still come out of looking this good. But in all seriousness, I learned many systems and strategies from my time doing martial arts, both as an athlete and a coach, that can help anybody and therefore any team improve their vitality. Now, what comes to mind when I mention the word vitality? What about vim, vigor, passion for what you do? Vitality actually comes from the Latin word vitalis, meaning of or belonging to life. Let's have a look at your vital signs. You have your pulse rate, your respiratory and breathing, and you have your blood pressure. If you don't have these, you'll be perceived as being dead, or in the very least, a very bad way. So if your vitality is lowered or non-existent, well, you're not performing as well as can be expected. Who here got up this morning, jumping out of bed, ready to take on the day? Or did you maybe hit the snooze button, have to drag yourself out of bed, and maybe, I don't know, need a cup of coffee to get yourself snapping into action? Do you or someone you know that you're supposed to start work at 9 o'clock? Yes, you may get there at 9, but you fluff around for 10, 15, or 20 minutes before you snap into action. Because I know this one really annoys me. Or do you have a project or department that just isn't going according to plan and they're just a little unsure of what to do? That's a few examples of where vitality may be lowered. I'm David Lindsay. I've been a full-time coach and trainer for over 20 years, and I'm a vitality expert. And I'll put together a simple 5-step system to raise your vitality. There are many similarities between a sports team and a business team, and that is how I want you to look at it. If you're the boss, manager, or supervisor, you're the coach and trainer of your team. If you're an employee, you are the players. Every single successful sporting team and individual knows the importance of creating rituals, getting themselves snapping into action. There's the most successful international sporting franchise in history. They also have the most famous ritual of all. It's known in America, Asia, right here in Australia. Just as you have Rafael Nadal who does bounce, 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 underpick, hair behind the ear, and serve. No, I'd even bet my bottom dollar there's nothing wrong with his undies. This is just his ritual. And do we have any golfers out here? I want you to think about what most golfers do before each and every shot, whether it's a long drive or a short putt. What do? They stand behind and they visualize it. They see if they want it to be a draw or a fade, to go high or go low. They then do their practice swings and then hopefully it goes off just as they visualized it. Visualization is a very important element, but there's so much more to really help you snap into action. Now, do we all know who this is? This is Ronda Rousey. She was the first ever women's UFC champion, and at one point the highest paid athlete, male or female, on the UFC roster. Now, as a fighter, we can't afford to waste 5 or 10 seconds before we snap into action, or there's a very real possibility you could get knocked out or taken down and get put in a very bad situation. So yes, at the moment I'm talking about Ronda Rousey, but it could be Conor McGregor, John Jones, Khabib, any fighter. We need the easiest, the simplest way to snap into action. And how may that be? It's utilizing the power of music. You see, when they walk to the cage, they all have their music going. It all pumps them up because music is a great mood alterer. It can help pump you up if you're feeling a bit flat, or it can help calm you down if you're feeling a bit anxious. My song, I come out to Wolf Mother, Joker and the Thief. Even now, even all these years later, I hear that music. It gets me going, it gets me excited, it gets me snapping into action. So why not utilize the power of music? In Sydney and in most capital cities around the world, unfortunately, we spend hours and hours commuting both to and from work each and every day. So why not make the most of that time? On the way to work, create some music, some songs that will snap you into action. On the way home, something that can help calm you down. Now, following off the back of music, music is a great step to help you snap into action. What's another way that can be used in an instant? The Superman pose. Now, this is where you stand like Superman. You take up space. Who here has heard the saying before that emotion is led by motion? The way that you sit, the way that you stand, the way that you move influences the way that you feel, therefore the way that you act. So if you sit slumpy, walk slumpy, you're going to feel slumpy. But if you sit tall and you sit powerful, well, everything's going to fall off the back of that. And I've been lucky enough to do this talk a few times, and my daughter's been sitting in the back a couple of them. And like every great kid, they give you the feedback. And she goes, Dad, I love it. But this part, this is good for the guys. What about for the girls out there? And they go, you know what? She's right. So we of course have the Wonder Woman pose. And holding this pose for as little as 2 minutes can help raise their testosterone while lowering your cortisol. It gets you into that alpha mindset. And you know what's better than Superman? Is that's my daughter there. She's practicing what we preach. She's doing her Supergirl pose. And more than that, it's not just that. People that are blind from birth have been shown to they do that when they get a victory. They do that when they win. They do that when they've done something well. So it's wholly in our DNA. And here's a few more examples of the way that you can utilize it. Now, we all have our own routines and rituals. So when I go and speak in the city, I hop on the same train, same carriage, almost the same seat, and I see the same people hop on. And there's a guy that hops on one stop after me. He comes in, he tries to be as small as possible. He tries to be a ghost. And the unfortunate thing is he succeeds. He gets up and he holds on to that pole. And people actually don't see him and they bump into him. The bad thing is he actually apologizes to them for them bumping into him. Then there's a bloke that hops on 2 stops after him. He's only a little bloke, but he walks on like he owns a train. And it's amazing how people respond differently to the 2 different ways that people walk on. So you have the power of music and you have the power of posture. These are 2 great tools, but you combine them, it becomes a superpower. And try it next time you're coming from the train station or the bus stop or the car park to your work. Put on your headphones, walk with power, passion and purpose and see how you feel when you turn up. And the great thing is you keep at this again and again and again, and eventually you'll get a friend that starts doing it. And then 2, and then 4, and then 8, and then before you know it, the majority of people are coming in. They're pumped up, they've snapped into action. And just a much nicer place to be. And now I get asked all the time, David, how are you so happy all the time? And I go, you know what, that's easy now. I mean, I get to talk to people for a living. I love doing what I do. I work up in a gym and I change people's lives for a living. But it wasn't always that way. There was a time many years ago when I had no goals, I had no dream, I had nothing to aim for. And I was looking at the people around me and they were moving forward. And I wasn't just struggling. I was struggling to keep my head above water. I was going backwards. And I thought, surely there has to be more to life than this. Getting up exhausted, going to work exhausted, only coming home more exhausted, on that forever hamster wheel, not moving forward, but yet moving backwards. So I did some reading, and I did some research, and I did some more reading. And time again, this positive self-talk, positive affirmations kept coming up. And at first I thought, what a load of rubbish, talking to yourself, what's that supposed to do? But I had a look at my life and I went, What do you have to lose? You're currently going nowhere. You're doing nothing. So I'd get up in the mornings and I'd say these affirmations, and I'd say it with power, with conviction. Now, nothing happened overnight or within a week, but 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month changed. And I started to see some change. Now, this wasn't physical, because that was always a bit of all right, but mentally and emotionally, I started to see some change. And man, this stuff has some power. But how would it be if I was to put my own words to it? So I did. And I'd get up in the morning and I'd say, today is going to be a great day. Any challenge coming my way, I can and will overcome it. Today is going to be a great day. Today, you look and feel great. And then you smile. You appreciate the person that's smiling back at you in the mirror. That's the only person that you have to impress. The person looking back at you in the mirror. Now, I told a few people at the gym this, and one of them came back to me and said, David, it's just not working. And I go, what? What's not working? He goes, the positive self-talk. I've been doing it for months and I haven't seen any change. So I took him to the side and I sat down and I said, show me exactly how you do it. He went, today is going to be a great day. Any challenge coming my way, I can and will overcome it. Today is going to be a great day. Today you look and feel great. Right terminology, but wrong physiology. You're saying it at home, for goodness sake. You're saying it in front of the mirror. So when you say it, you must see it, mean it, believe it, and then you become it. So what we're going to do now as a group, we're going to go through that saying twice. And don't worry if you can't remember it, because here it is. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Today is going to be a great day. Any challenge coming my way, I can and will overcome it. Today is going to be a great day. Today you look and feel great. One more time. Today is going to be a great day. Any challenge coming my way, I can and will overcome it. Today is going to be a great day. Today you look and feel great. And then smile. That's what it's all about. It's appreciating the person that's smiling back at you. But once you've created your own unique routines and rituals to help you snapping into action, we then go to the second step, which is nap. Nowadays, more within the last 100 years, people are working more hours and more days, and potential burnout is just around the corner. But I'm sure with the last 2 or 3 years, so many of you are just pulling your hair out, just overloaded with workplace stress. And who here honestly thinks that stress is a bad thing? What if I was to tell you that stress isn't a bad thing? In fact, stress is required for growth. But as stress plus recovery is where the growth is. Now, I'm sure many of you have been to the gym before, and I want you to cast your mind all the way back to when you first started. When you first did squats or bench press or chin-ups or bicep curls. How did you feel the day after your workout, and also the day after the day after? Especially after doing squats, you're probably walking around broken. You're so sore and sorry. Because what you've done is you've stressed the muscles out. You've stressed the tendons, the ligaments, the joints, the bones. It's all stressed out. In fact, you've created micro tears in the muscle. So you give it a little bit of recovery, and then you go back again. You stress, recover, and then what happens? Eventually, the muscles adapt, the joints, the bones, the tendons and ligaments, they all adapt. They get bigger, they get stronger, they get faster. So in order to keep improving, you need to increase the stress. So the way that you do that in weights is you lift heavier weights. You do more sets, more reps, less recovery time. Do it faster, do it slower. But you need this stress to keep improving. In work, your mind is a muscle, and you must treat it as such. And people are wondering why. They're constantly stressing it out and not giving it that time to recover. But what I'm going to share with you now is a technique that's been scientifically proven to retain more information and be more productive in a given time. And it's called the Pomodoro technique. What you want to do, where possible, apply it. You're going to start off like a beginner in the gym. You're not going to start off with 100 kilos bench press or 140 kilos. You're going to start off with just the bar, just 10 kilos on each side. Then you're going to gradually build up. So you're going to start off with 20, 25 minutes. During this time, you have no phone calls, no emails, no distractions. You're just going to be single focused on the task at hand. Then your alarm goes off. You're going to get up, you're going to move, you're going to walk around, get the blood pumping, you're going to rehydrate. Because most of us are chronically dehydrated and that affects your performance. And then you're going to go back and do it again and again and again. And every fourth one, you have a slightly longer break. Then, as with weight training, once you get used to that 25, 30 minutes, you're going to increase that to 35, 40, 45 minutes, and that's sort of where I'd stop. Because you want to think of it as a mental sprint. It's not a marathon. It's a sprint, recover, and then 1 hour becomes 2, becomes 6, becomes 8, becomes 12, and then you're back to where you started again. So max out at 45 minutes. And who here also has a lunch break? Because there's research that shows that we're so much more productive if we have a lunch break than if we work our way through lunch. And by having a lunch break, I don't mean sitting at your computer, eating a high-fat, high-sugar donut, swizzled down by coffee. And I don't mean sitting down, having a cigarette. I mean going out, getting some fresh air, talking to people about things other than work, eating some nutritious food to refuel your body and your mind, and keeping up the hydration. Because all too often, I hear people go, I worked my way through lunch, and they see it as a badge of honor. I don't see it as a badge of honor. I see it mostly as poor time management. Or simply, you have too much on your plate, and it's a time to start delegating. But whether you've used the Pomodoro technique, whether you've gone out for your lunch break, whether you've had an actual nap, you then must snap back into action. Because there's no point coming back after lunch and being sluggish. Snapping into action will stop that. Then we go to our third step, which is tap. Many people think of tapping as giving up and quitting. But I want you to reframe that as allowing you to step back, analyze the situation, realign, reconnect, and refocus on the task at hand, this time with a different strategy to not get caught in that same position again. When I'm fighting, and if I get caught in an armbar, what they're doing, they're hoping to hyperextend my elbow to either pop my elbow or break my arm. So what I do is I tap. Tap, you may lose the fight, but you're not going to quit. What you do, you go back to your coach and you talk about what happened. How did you get caught in there? How can you make it harder next time? And how may you be able to use that as a trap? And then next time it's going to be a little bit more difficult. Then a little bit more difficult, a little bit more difficult. Then before you know it, you're using that as a trap. You never get caught in the armbar again. Many, many businesses see the importance of tapping and evolving. Equally as many do not. Who here at one point had Nokia as their primary phone? Nokia phones were brilliant. They were constantly tapping and evolving. They're the first ones to come up with lights, come up with camera, come up with action on the phones. They're the first ones to come up with being able to buy music on your phone from a third party. They were killing the world. They had over 30% of the entire mobile phone industry in the mid to late 90s. In the early 2000s, even after the introduction of the smartphones, they had over 40, just shy of 50%. But with them being largely too arrogant to go to the Android system and being stuck on their Symbian system, they stopped tapping and evolving. And who here now has Nokia as a primary phone? They're now no longer a player in the mobile phone industry. That's not to say that they won't get back in there, but for the meantime, they're not. And also, you can follow, just not Nokia, but Kodak, Blockbuster, Toys R Us, and many, many other companies stop tapping and evolving. But a few examples of one that do constantly tap and evolve: SpaceX, Facebook more recently with the metaverse, Tesla, and of course the mighty M, McDonald's. They're constantly tapping and evolving. Yes, a lot of the times it works, but quite a few of the times it doesn't. Because has anyone ever heard of McPizza? Many people haven't even heard of McPizza because they tried it. They failed fast, they failed forward, they tapped and evolved. Because when you go to McDonald's, you don't go for pizza, you go for burgers. If you want a pizza, you go to Domino's, you go to Pizza Hut, you go to your local pizza joint. But they tried it, they failed fast, they failed forward, they tapped and evolved. What about McHotdog? So easy and simple to do. You just put a Frankfurt in boiling water, cut open a bun, and there we go. But again, it was an epic fail. But they failed fast, they failed forward, they tapped and evolved. Anyone ever heard of McSpaghetti or McFettuccine or McLasagna? These are hard enough for trained chefs, let alone people working their way through high school and university. And again, another epic fail. But they failed fast, they failed forward, they tapped and evolved. In the early 2000s, they had a burger campaign. In Australia, they had a McOz, which had beetroot, lettuce, onions, all the good stuff on it. In Greece, there was a McGreek, which was a gyros wrap. In Africa, they had a McAfrica, which again was an epic fail, but they failed fast, they failed forward, they tapped and evolved. And anytime we talk about evolution, we of course talk about this guy, Sir Charles Darwin. And he famously said, it's not the strongest nor the most intelligent that survive, but the ones most responsive to change. And we've been through a world of change the last few years. So how can you be an innovator or an early adapter? And how do you know when to jump off when it's hit that peak? And as I said, this is a perfect time to try things, to tap, learn, grow and evolve, to tap, fail fast and fail forward. Because if you haven't had to tap before, you simply aren't trying hard enough. But if you have had to tap, you can't hang your head in shame and hope the rest of the world is going to feel sorry for you. No, you pick yourself up, dust yourself off and snap back into action. Having snapped into action, we start going down the chain. We have clap. Plain and simple, it's celebrate. We do this all the time in sports, but very rarely in business. Let's have a look at it. In football, in rugby league in Australia, I'm running and I tackle the bloke and he spills a ball. So I've had a small win, and yet my mates came high five, they hoot, they holler, pats on the bum, scruffs on the head. Well done, David, for quite a big celebration. But let's flip that up. I'm running with the ball, and I get hit and I spill it. My mates don't come up and lay the boot while I'm down. No, they pick me up, dust me up. Don't worry about it, David. Let's raise as a team for this next set. So we still celebrate, even though we've done an error. And you see this especially in doubles tennis. Between every point, they go and they have a little talk, especially when someone does a bad shot. They don't worry about it, David. Let's make up for it. Because what this is, this stops you from tightening up and compounding the error. To win football, we win a game, we celebrate. We make it to the finals, celebrate. We win the grand final, man, we're going to raise the roof. In businesses, we let completed projects go by unannounced. Newly acquired contracts go by unrewarded. Excellent effort gone by unappreciated. This is a perfect time to put that team on the pedestal, to give them public recognition, because not only will it show them that you appreciate what they do, but it will show everyone else around that you're aware what's going on. Now, I'm a competitive guy. I don't go half in anything I do. And in football, I don't know what it is. When I'm with my mate and he misses a tackle, I seem to get superhuman speed and strength to cover him. As opposed to if it's just an associate, I don't know, I'm still trying my best, but I'm half that step slower. And in work, people, when they care about each other, they're willing to do more. They're willing to stay for longer, and they're willing to go harder for people that they care about than they actually are for themselves. And this is because they're aware that they're going to receive it back as well. But then once we've done the cut, we go to the fifth and final step, which is recap, which is all about continuous, never-ending improvement in everything we do. As a coach of football side, I can sit down on the sideline and take down notes. I can go up in the grandstand and I can get a different perspective. But I don't see everything. So what we do, the coaching staff, we watch it a second time. Everyone would watch it together. We'd all have a notepad and we'd scribble what we saw. Then we'd watch it a third time. This time with the players, and the players would get handout of sheet. That way they know what we saw, but we're not on ground zero. And this also opens the lines of communications, not just top to bottom, but more importantly, bottom to top. Because believe it or not, as a coach, I want problems. I need problems, but I also need solutions. But we must also draw a line in the sand that we never just throw anyone under the bus. If the fullback dropped the ball 3 or 4 times, he's well aware he dropped the ball 3 or 4 times. The players are well aware. The coaches are well aware. That's my job, to show him how to catch it correctly. Or maybe, just maybe, we have him playing in the wrong position. Maybe he's the world's best 5'8", and we just have him playing at fullback. So we're never throwing anyone under the bus, but we do want problems. And we're going to write it up on the board. So the conditions were slippery. The referee called them offside and there was no talk. Okay, so now this is where we want solutions, because getting solutions has that buy-in factor. So conditions were slippery. Okay, so maybe we'll train in joggers compared to boots or cleats, making sure that we run straight lines and with a slippery ball so that we hold it properly. Okay, good. So we'll write that up. The referee called them offside. Okay, maybe there's a time when we allow our team to give away a penalty if it's going to stop an almost certain try. Okay, so write that up. Okay, and the talk wasn't very good. So what can we do about that? Yes, okay, good. So what we do is we're going to do a training session to fatigue them out. Then with that, we're going to do an opposed training session, making sure they talk the entire time. It doesn't matter what you're saying, just keep talking so that they get used to it. Okay, good. So every team, every situation, every week is going to be that little bit different. Because think about it, if we're the same team in 6 months' time as we are today, that's a waste of 6 months. If we're the same business in 6 months as we are today, that's a waste of 6 months. If I'm the same speaker in 6 months as I am today, again, it's a waste of 6 months. No one has ever played the perfect game and no one ever will. But what we want to do, we want to get that little bit closer each and every day, that little 1% improvement. And we do that through recap. Then once we've had that recap, we then snap back into action. Whether it's for the next fight, the next game, or the next project. Remember at the start, I mentioned the most successful international sporting franchise in history. Can anyone think of who it may be? It's the All Blacks. And their ritual, of course, is the haka. So what we're going to do, we're going to take some elements from the haka. And we're going to create our ritual to help us snap into action. So what we're going to do in a little bit, and you're all at home, you can do this. I want to feel it. Is we are going to hop up in a little bit. But what we're going to do, you're either going to slap your thighs or slap your chest, then let it all my, So we're doing something physical. Doing something verbal that will change us at a mental state. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, everyone up, and just shake it out, shake it out, shake it out, shake it out. Okay, on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3, Okay, that's a good starting point. I'm sure some of you did it well. I'm sure some of you didn't do it at all. But we've come here today to raise the bar. We've come here today to raise the standards. I think you should really try and raise the roof. Because we're going to do it one more time. One more time. And this time, I want to feel it all the way from Sydney, Australia. I want to feel it from the ground. I want to feel it from your bones. I want to feel it surge through the computer. We're going to do it one more time. This time, I want you to go tribal. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3, bah! There we go. That's so much better. Now we have a routine to snap into action. So give yourself a high five and give everyone a round of applause. And remember that I am Dave Lindsay, your vitality expert. And let's keep the energy going for the rest of the show.
Yeah, man, that guy doesn't mess around. Sabrina, are you the account manager for David? Oh man, lucky. So yeah, he's a fun guy to work with.
Amazing. Yes.
yeah. And I'm just so happy too that, it's like in one thing I didn't mention too, is like, when you're working relationship based, it is a true meritocracy. If you're kind of a sour, negative person, that's part of our vetting process. Like, it's just like a nuts. I'm like, yeah, I don't know. It's probably not going to work for you. But when you've got that love of other people, and clearly you can see that David's got that. Hey, pop on really quick, especially, are there any public speakers in the room? Because our next presenter, I've got 2 more presentations that we can squeeze in on the live stream. The rest you can watch right now if you want to watch any of the on-demand session. I know we've been seeing the views going heavy on those as well. But of course, we're live here. So this is kind of fun. And so everyone else is doing the haka right now. And so anyway, but yeah, just David is just such a delight to work with. When you are expanding your network, and again, David's like a perfect kind of person for us to work with because he's just a good, positive person. Like, he likes other people. So like, when you're in the room, like, it's like, if you're the type of personality, like, once people get to know you, they're like, man, I don't even know what you do, but I want to work with you. That is also, again, kind of what we've been talking about these past couple of days. This is it. This is your calling, is just to go all in on relationships. So, all right. Well, I've got our next presenter, Amy Dix. So if you would like to speak, if you'd like to do some public speaking, Amy Dix is a really good person to know. Also, I've had such a joy of working with Amy over the past couple of years. We've landed some really good speaking gigs for her. And because again, our methodology works if you want to attract clients, partners, investors. If you want to attract in speaking gigs, it works too. David's gotten 4 speaking gigs. I think he said 3 or 4 speaking gigs just from the work that we've done together on the podcast. And again, I put the link in the chat window, but it's just FameandProfit.com/apply. And we would love to have you. And again, the way that works is, again, you don't have to worry about like joining our program. Let's talk with us first. If it works out, it's going to work out to under $1,000 a month if we decide that it's a fit for both of us. So again, that link right there, I'll just put that in the chat window, is just FameandProfit.com/apply. And again, I'm just referring to my keynote, my presentation earlier, because again, that's an offer where after this event, it's about $3,000 to $4,000 more over the course of a year. So at least check it out. And then see if that's a good fit for you. All right, so let's do this. Let's go to Amy's presentation. Thank you, by the way, for all the love and social media lands. We've been live streaming all over the world. Thank you so much to all the comments and everybody. Todd, Joseph C., everybody else. Just see scrolling back. Oh, David, Chris, Cheryl. Thank you, Greg. Awesome. All right, so Amy Dix, she is awesome. I love Amy. She's got a really good roster of clients that are speakers. And if you log into the video play pages, particularly if you have a diamond upgrade, she's got some goodies there. And as well, her contact information, if you're looking for someone to help you land more gigs, polish your presentation, so forth, she's awesome. All right, without further ado, here's Amy Dix. Oh boy, I'm really excited for this session. And the reason why is Amy Dix, you are a dear friend of mine. You are so respected in the speaker industry to begin with. You know a lot of people, you know a lot of things, and you're about to share some of your insights and wisdom in this presentation. Amy, without, spilling too much here, what are we going to learn in your presentation here?
Oh, without spilling too much? Okay, I can do this. We are going to learn how to create your meaningful speech in order to scale your business. We are going to uncover what your uncommon values are as a speaker so that you can book more engagements. And we're even going to walk through how to get more speaking engagements.
I love it. And of course, Amy, thank you as well. Thank you so much for being our sponsor for Fame and Profit. Now, there is a link on the page where you can go to Authority Speakers Agency. We have a direct link, Amy, for your website there. And so during the presentation, pay close attention here, but make sure you engage with Amy. I can personally vouch for Amy. Amy is the kind of person that you want to work with. She's the kind of person that you want in your corner because, again, Amy knows people, Amy knows things. And Amy, you are just such a delight to be around. Like you, and you'll pick this, if you haven't, our friend here hasn't picked this up, Amy's the kind of person that when she walks in the room lights up. And so, Amy, I'm so excited for your presentation. Let's get to it.
I'm so honored. Thank you so much, Josh. Oh, excuse me. I didn't see you there. I was too busy painting. Hi, I'm Amy Dix with Authority Speakers Agency. And what the heck does painting have to do with speaking? For you, it may be nothing. For me, it's everything. It's how I earn tens of thousands of dollars on a stage every single time I get booked. But look, you don't need to be a painter or an artist in order to do the same thing. You don't need to be a painter in order to scale your business. You don't need to be a painter in order to use the stage and build your speaking career. And look, I didn't start here. I didn't start as a painter on a stage, but the stage has always been my happy place. So I have been speaking professionally now for over 10 years, but where I started and where I ended up is very different. And there are just a few things that if I would have known, it wouldn't have taken me 10 years to get here. But here we are. But I want this for you. I want to go through with you today how your meaningful speech can scale your business. How you can build not just a speaking career, but how you can use speaking for your business. I like to think of it as magical marketing. So think of this for just a moment. If you were to try to reach your ideal audience, one way you could do it is you could run Facebook ads, yes? Or any Instagram ads, YouTube ads, you choose. And then what happens? And now you're trying to find the right person. You're trying to pull them in. They got to go through your funnel. At some point, depending on what your offer is, at some point, it's probably a phone call just to get to talk to your ideal audience. A stage is the shortcut to that. So I want to go through with you today on how you can do that and where to find stages so that you can build the momentum that you were meant to build and that you can get your message out to the world. Now, I said it took time for me to get where I am today. I didn't start out at a $10,000 speaker. In fact, my very first speaking engagement was for nothing. And then, but I do remember the first time that I got paid for a speaking engagement, and it was $250. But worse than that, it wasn't just $250. It's less about the speaker fee. It's more about like the audience and who I was talking to. And I walked off that stage, and guess what? I knew it wasn't my audience. Now, fast forward a little while, my first, what I would consider large speaking engagement, I pitched myself to this organization, and they said, how much is your fee? And I didn't really know what my fee was. Like, somebody offered me $250 at one point, but certainly that wasn't my fee. So I said $1,500. And they said, okay. I knew then that I left money on the table. But the lesson there was the same as the $250 lesson. It's less about the fee that they paid me, and it was more about the audience. So again, I got on a stage and I spoke to the stage and I motivated them and I was excited, and I walked off that stage and I felt deflated. Why? Because I wasn't speaking to the right audience. When I talk about the stage being a magical shortcut, yes, it is. It is the magical marketing shortcut when you're in front of your right audience. I'm going to show you how you can get in front of your right audience in a very quick way. So instead of running ads and hoping that somebody comes through your funnel, imagine being on stage and speaking to hundreds or thousands of your ideal audience. You can see them hang on to your every word. You can see them leaning forward in their seats. And best of all, when you walk off that stage, you have a line of your ideal audience waiting to talk to you. That is the power of speech. And the power of speech is so real. Alternatively, picture yourself on stage and suddenly you start to see people check their watches. Now some of them are leaving. You're like, wait, what's happening? I don't want that for you, because two scenarios can happen. You can have the scenario with the line, like you can't even get off the stage, right? Like, have you ever been there? You've spoken, like you're trying to get off the stage for the next the next speaker, and you already have a line meeting you at the bottom of the stage. That's what I want for you. That's scenario one. Scenario two is checking watches, leaving the conference room, and walking off that stage and feeling the way that I felt that day, where I was like, this was not the right audience for me. Now, in order to get booked for those stages, you have to create a few things. You have to have a meaningful message. You have to have a meaningful message. I'm going to go through these with you. You also need to find your uncommon value, and then build the momentum. All right, so let's go on this roller coaster. Let's find your meaningful speech, your uncommon value, and your build. And I'll show you how to build momentum and find the stages. Okay, let me show you quickly. Let's just go here. Pull up my handy iPad. All right. 3 things, right? So 3 things that I've got for you. Meaningful speech. Oops. You have to have a meaningful speech. And it needs to be meaningful in two ways. It needs to be meaningful for you. I mean, let's make sure that you're giving a message that means something to you, right? And it needs to be meaningful for your audience or whoever is hiring you, right? Or that they know that it's going to be meaningful for that audience. All right, so meaningful speech, number one. The second thing that you need is you need to find your uncommon value. Uncommon value. Now, we work with speakers all the time. And this is like when they come into the agency and we're working with them on, you know, finding the speech, finding the hook of their speech. This is one of the most important things and sometimes the hardest thing for the speaker to tell us. What is your uncommon value? What makes you different than all the other speakers? And the third thing that you need in order to get booked, build momentum. Build momentum. Okay, so if you want to use the power of speech to scale your business, you need these three things. Let's start with the meaningful speech. How do you create a meaningful speech? How do you know that it's meaningful? And I said it had to be two ways, right? Had to be meaningful not only to you, but to the audience as well. So there's a couple of things when we look at how, let me just draw this out. How do you, okay. My circles got significantly smaller as we went through it. But okay, so let's talk about how you create a meaningful speech that is meaningful to you. In fact, let's try this again. Should we, shall we? All right. Okay, I don't know if that's even better or not. Okay, so number one, you have to love the topic. Okay, so you love the topic. If you don't love the topic and you just kind of speak on it just to speak on it, you can get booked for stages. I'm not saying you can't. You can scale your business to a certain extent, but you're gonna burn out. So you want to make sure that you love the topic. A lot of times I'll tell our speakers, like, be authentic to who you are. Be authentic to where you are. Like, you need to meet yourself where you are in your speaker journey. Okay. The second one is the world, the audience needs the message. Sometimes we have folks come through the agency where they love the topic. Like, they're like, this is near and dear to my heart. I love this. People need to hear this. But if there is no audience, if they don't need the message, then it's going to be really hard to get in front of your ideal audience. I mean, this would be true within your business as well. But the second thing is you can be paid. You can be paid. I want to talk about being paid here for just a moment. You can be paid in a myriad of different ways when it comes to speaking. So in the beginning, I told you about how, you know, my first fee where I actually pitched myself was $1,500. And I thought, oh my gosh, I left money on the table. But what I later realized is it's less about the speaker fee and it's more about the opportunity, right? So you can go with no speaker fee and still make six figures on stage, right? So my business partner in Authority Speakers Agency, he'll tell you, he's like, I never want to take a speaker fee again because I would rather them not pay me the fee, be able to get on a stage, be able to motivate, inspire, and pitch my product and service and make six figures. That is much more meaningful to him, right? And so there's different ways to get paid, and we go through that within the agency. Not enough time today, but multiple ways to get paid as a speaker. So I want you to think beyond the speaker fee. So you can get paid, and the last one is you are an expert on this topic. You are an expert on this topic. When you are the expert, this kind of goes into the next one, which is your uncommon value. But when you are the expert on your topic, of course it makes sense for you to be the person on the stage delivering that message. This, my friends, actually, I should do this. This is the heart of your meaningful, let's do this, of your meaningful speech. All right. This is the heart of your meaningful speech. So I want you to think through, do you love the topic? Does the world need to hear your message? Can you be paid for this topic? And are you the expert? If all four of those line up, then here we are, friends. Here we are, the heart of your meaningful speech. Now, I said it needs to be meaningful both for you and for the audience. Whoops. And more importantly, the planner who is hiring you needs to be able to understand this. This needs to be so obvious to them, right? Why else would they hire you? They need to be able to see beyond a shadow of a doubt that this is going to mean something for their audience. The fastest way to do this is to be able to set yourself apart from the other speakers. So this is what we call your uncommon value. What is your uncommon value? So how do you find your uncommon value? Oops. Can I spell today? All right. I want you to take a sheet of paper. Make 2 boxes. Make 2 boxes on that sheet of paper. The first one is going to be, what uncommon values do you have that set you apart from other speakers? Set you apart from other speakers. I'm going to give you 2 scenarios. I'm going to talk to you here for just a second. I'm going to give you 2 scenarios. Scenario number 1. There is a speaker on a leadership topic. They're very clear on what their topic is. They're very niche. They are the only ones who can deliver the message that they are delivering because they're the expert. Scenario number 2. You have a speaker who is speaking on leadership. They are very general. They say they can talk to any organization on leadership. And they give a similar message than any other speaker on leadership. Okay. This scenario has played out for us within the agency. We had 2 speakers. This is just one example. We've actually come across this a couple times. We've had 2 speakers, both on leadership. Now, when we present those 2 speakers to a planner or for an event, what happens? Who gets hired? Undoubtedly, we had one speaker, the same speaker, get hired every single time because he created his meaningful speech and understood that he was the only person capable of delivering that message that he wanted. The second guy on leadership, anyone could deliver. I could get up and deliver a message on leadership. So they could hire anyone. So given the choice between those 2 speakers, 100% of the time, 100 by the way, not exaggerating, 100% of the time, this speaker got chosen. Now I want you to take that scenario and think about it in your terms. If you are applying for a conference or you are talking to an event planner, right? So events right now are getting hundreds of speaker applications. We get emails all day long from our speakers that we have pitched that says, thank you for your submission. We had an overwhelming response for speakers this year and had over 300 applications. Now you're not just up against that other speaker who speaks on the same topic as you. You're up against 300 different speakers that speak on a similar topic as you. Yikes. So you need to be able to identify what is your uncommon value. What is it that the message is that only you can deliver? Because if only you can deliver it, well, then that's an easier choice for the planners. All right, let's go back. Let's go back to our chart here. So what sets you apart from other speakers? All right, the other thing is what sets you apart on stage? What sets you apart on stage? So what sets you apart from other speakers? What sets you apart on stage? For me, this is really easy. For what sets me apart on stage is I'm a speed painter. There's not a lot of people that speed paint on stage, right? So what sets you apart on stage? We have another speaker. He raps. He raps and he gets the audience to rap with him. Sounds like a lot of fun, right? That's what sets him apart on stage. That's what's going to get him booked again and again and again. This one will get you hired. This one will help you create momentum. What sets you apart from the other speakers? What sets you apart on stage? I want you to list these items out and be sure that when you are pitching that this is what you were leading with. What you're leading with, so those who are hiring you know exactly what that is. All right. Now, if we go back, whoops. So we had meaningful speech, finding your uncommon value. Now, how do you gain momentum? How do you gain momentum? And it doesn't matter where you are in your speaking career. You always want to continue that momentum. Maybe you're at the beginning and you need to build it. Well, then you're meeting yourself where you are in your speaking career. Maybe you've built a little bit of momentum. You want more momentum, or you want bigger momentum. You want bigger stages. Perfect. All of that is great. So how do you build your momentum? One of the things I think that is important for you to do before we talk about the different stages and building your momentum is to set your goals. Set your goals. How many stages do you want to be on in the next 12 months? How many stages do you want to be on in the next 6 months? What about the next 3? What about next week? So identify what your goals are, what your speaking goals are. And if you can tie that to some dollar amount, even better, right? So like we have speakers that they know that when they go on stage, if they're selling a $5,000 high ticket item, they know about how many they'll convert out of every 100 speakers. So if they convert 10, we're just going to do easy math. If they convert 10, well, what's that stage worth to them? Right? So if they get booked on a stage with 100 people in the audience and they know that 10 historically will buy their $5,000 product, what's that worth to them? That's a $50,000 stage to them, right? So your goal is, if you can tie it to a dollar amount, even better, even better. You get bonus points, extra credit. Okay. Now, let me talk about how do you build your momentum? What kind of stages can you use to build your momentum? I started talking a little bit about, I wasn't painting when I first started speaking. When I first started speaking, the very first, well, one of the earlier parts of my speech was in kind of women empowerment a little bit. And that just kind of happened because of my past. And where I came from, right? You're best, you can serve the people best of where you were about 5 years prior to where you are now. fun fact. Okay, so I started in women's empowerment. Then I also had my digital marketing agency. So what did I do? Well, hello, marketing magical shortcut. I started speaking on stages. In fact, I spoke on 97 stages in like an 18-month period. It was absolutely insane. I got a ton of points on airlines and hotels, and it was great. It was a blast. For me, it was a blast, but I knew it wasn't sustainable. Then I was speaking on social media, digital marketing, content creation. Those were the things that I was speaking on then. And then now, as I kind of gained that momentum, and then I kind of had a shift. And then my second book is really on the science of happiness. So I went back to motivational speaking, and I did that speech for, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 years. And then I started integrating painting into it. So my momentum continues, but it looks different. So you might be, no matter where you are, your momentum might shift. When I shifted from marketing to motivational speaking again, well, I didn't go from 97 stages in an 18-month period to another 97 stages on motivational speaking, right? I got to rebuild my momentum. It's a different topic. That's not what I was known for. So no matter where you are, you can use these types of stages in order to build your momentum within your speaking career and as you kind of start to scale your business. So let's go here. Let's look at this. I love the word momentum, by the way, like love the word momentum. And I think momentum is what keeps us going a lot in our businesses. It's what keeps us going a lot in life. It's like we see that, like, it's almost like there's hope. Like when there's momentum, there's hope, right? And so we keep going and going and going. So momentum begets momentum. This is a saying, this is not my saying, but momentum begets momentum. And the best way to start is to start. So you got to start somewhere. So this is where setting your goals is going to be really important. And one of the things that I want you to do is I want you to tell me how many stages you're going to be on in the next week. You can book a stage instantly today. Today, you can book a stage if you want to build that momentum. That's really through, I think that's one of the things that we're offering is the referral script. And so that's the fastest way to get a stage. And so you'll want to be sure to go there and get the referral script and use it word for word and send it out. Boom, magic. You will get a stage booked this week. Okay. So this is where I started here in referral. So these are the different types of stages. So as you build your strategy, you want to consider these types of stages. Now, when people come into the agency, this is what we're doing, right? We're listening, we're identifying where they are in their speaking career, we're identifying who their audience is, what type of stage is best for them. So these, and then what we do, and what I suggest you do, is that you find 2 or 3 of these lanes, or 2 or 3 of these categories that you're going to hit. So you're going to say, you know what, I really want to do virtual and I really want to stay local for right now. Perfect. Those are your 2 lanes. You're going to build a strategy to go get those stages. All right. So let's go through these. So you have local. I'm going to go through these individually here in just a second, but you've got local stages, you have live stages. Hello. That's the one I feel like everyone always wants. You have advocate. This is your referrals. Association stages, virtual stages, industry niches, and then PR and media. These are our categories when we book our speakers on stage. So now let's break this down. Local stages look something like this: networking groups, local chapter meetings. Sometimes like associations, like if you have a national association, then they will have a local meetup, right? So that's what local stages are. I love local stages, by the way. I have made a ton of money doing local stages because local stages is a really great way to build off of one speaking engagement and get a bigger speaking engagement. So here's just an example right here at the top with one of our speakers. The planner had told us, you know, he did a great job. He brought his books, another way to get paid, by the way, if you're an author. And then it says, I'm going to try to get him speaking engagements with Juice Plus, which are paid were paid engagements. And so that was his ideal. That's one of his ideal companies. Boom. Spoke at a live event, got the bigger event. Live conferences and stages, man, conferences, conventions, live summits, retreats, workshops, seminars, keynotes, breakouts, all of those, right? I think that's what gets me excited. I don't know if that's what gets you excited. One of our clients, we actually were able to book, I think 3 live stages, all on the topic. She talks about doing business in Africa. Talk about knowing your topic, right? That is so niche, that is so specific, and boom, we booked her on 3 of her dream stages just from that. Can you imagine being, and it was all within like, I don't know, man, maybe like a 6-month period, but being on 3 of your dream stages all within 6 months, you can do it. It's all about building the momentum, building your strategy, understanding your goals, and identifying which of these lanes you want to play in. All right, so you have associations. So regional, national conferences, local chapter conferences. I love this one. When I was an event planner, I owned a third-party event planning company. Wow, like over a decade ago at this point. But anyway, one of the things when I started that business, somebody told me, I didn't even know it when I got into the business, but they were like, you need to work with associations because they have to have an event every year. They have to educate their members. And I thought, well, hello, people. Hello. That's where I'm headed. If you are a speaker, hello, speaker, that's where you need to be headed. So what is it that you speak on? And go find some associations that work for you. One of the ones we're actually thinking about joining on behalf of our speakers so that we can book our speakers in this arena is colleges. So we've got a couple of speakers who they want to speak to colleges and universities. Did you know that there is an association for National Association of College Activities, I think is NACA, I think that's what it is, where the people who hire speakers for colleges to come into colleges, that they belong to that organization. Oh my gosh, if I was a speaker and that was my lane, like that was my niche, I would want to join that association, and or I would want to see how can I speak for that association, right? So what associations are within your industry that you can speak at? Oh, this is just, here's an example. We booked Bo here, up here in the upper right hand corner, for the PGA, Professional Golf Association. That one too is going to lead, we're pretty confident, we're not there yet, he speaks here in a bit, but is going to lead to many more speaking engagements, which is a whole nother conversation about being what we call like a referable speaker. But anyway, so this one you may know with the Fame and Profit. So this is a virtual speaking stage. I love virtual speaking stages. You know, I love to teach how to use a room for virtual speaking stages, but you've got webinars, you have live streams, you can go in other people's challenges. You have virtual summits like this one. So love virtual. It's a hot stage. It's not going away. It's really a matter of how you can figure out how to integrate it into your speaking strategy. I'm going to give you one little example here. Is I spoke virtually to a group of 5 people. 5. It was a leadership, something, it was like a leadership meeting, something or another, and like 5 people showed up and that was it. And I thought, oh my gosh, you know, and I paint and I'm all over the place and I've got different camera angles and all kinds of things. And I thought, okay, well, here we go. You know, I guess it's just 5 people. By the way, I was not paid to do it. But that virtual event turned into me speaking to 400 for an association, 400 people in Times Square. Well, okay, hello, let's not cross off virtual. Let's keep going. Let's figure out how to put it into our strategy. And then finally, we have PR and media. I think that this is something that all speakers should have in their little toolbox, is to have been on some sort of TV radio podcast, add it to your list. It's a great way to build authority. And from that, you can create the momentum. You can use those videos, put them on your website, and go and use that to get even more stages and bigger stages. This is our client, George. He was on Desert Living in LA, well, Palm Springs. And in fact, he just messaged us this weekend and he said, I want more of those. I want more of those TV ones. So those are the different categories and how you can build momentum. So again, creating your meaningful speech, meaningful to you and meaningful to the audience, right? So 2 ways. Finding your uncommon value, what makes you different from the other speakers, which will get you hired, and what makes you different on stage, which will get you more gigs. And then number 3, building your momentum, looking at those categories, figuring out, okay, what is it? What lanes do I want to concentrate on? And if you want the advocate speech or the magic referral speech, grab it, use it, and go get booked today. Thank you so much for hanging out. I need to run because I still have more painting to do. Thanks for being here. Amy with Authority Speakers Agency.
Amy, you're awesome. So great having Amy. And yeah, so again, if you missed any of that, if you've missed any of our sessions, and there are sessions that we just don't even have the time to put into our live stream, you could just simply go to FameandProfit .com. It's free. Just register and you'll immediately get the links to watch all of the sessions. And again, that's at FameandProfit .com, and register for free. Go see all the sessions. And all right, well, we've got our last one of the live stream that we've got the time to do. And Fabi Paolini just does phenomenal work. One thing, hopefully she shares her website, because she shares some really, really, like her work is just awesome. Fabi is a new friend, and we are hiring Fabi to kind of remake a lot of our website because it's badly in need of a little bit of touch up here and there. So, well, Sabrina, how are you doing? All right, good. Great. Well, let me go and let me grab video. Oh, hey, Elisa, how are you?
Been working behind the scenes, so
yeah. Yeah, haven't we all? So yeah.
I had an Italian ice. I mean,
yes, yeah. All right. Well, we are coming to the close of day 2, but again, you can watch these sessions as long as you want. When you log in, if you upgrade to gold or whatever, you can get them after today. There's no deadline on them. And I think it's just that's $47. So that's up to you. But these speaker sessions are amazing. But there are at nearly double what we've been able to squeeze into the live sessions today. So make sure you go and you watch all those on demand, get that information, distill it, take action on what you're learning as well. Otherwise, if you're just, just drinking from the fire hose and you're not doing anything with that, it's not as valuable. So, as Matt Damon said a year ago on the crypto.com commercial.
Yeah, your business is missing out if you're not taking action.
It's true, truly. Well, again, really excited for this last presentation, Fabi Paolini. And again, she's going to be sharing about how to attract ready-to-invest clients by going from pain marketing to gain marketing. So without further ado, we might have a little message here with Derek Van Ness beforehand. Well, before we get to our speaker session, I want to just invite Derek Van Ness to the stage. Derek Van Ness is a personal friend of mine. We've been working together for years. He is the guy that listen, he has been so instrumental to, I'll just say, Derek, not only like my wife and I being able to make smarter decisions personally with our money, and certainly much smarter tax strategy decisions. Thank you so much. But Derek, because of your wisdom, your experience, you work with business leaders, you work with founders, you work with entrepreneurs, you get it. That's kind of like your primary audience that you work with. And I'll just throw this in there as well. You're just a really good person. Like, it was emotionally gratifying to have worked with you. But I just want to give a little preview here. You have a presentation here at Fame and Profit Summit. We've got a direct link to it. You can go watch that right now. And then as well, we've got a link directly to Derek's website as well, Big Life Financial, so you guys can get connected. And Derek, I send people to you all the time, and I'm thrilled to do so. What are you going to be speaking about in your session, which is linked up on the page right now?
Thanks, Josh. Yeah, we do a ton of different tax and financial strategies, but what I'm going to be talking about in this session is how you can get back up to $26,000 per W-2 employee you had during the pandemic. So do some quick math in your head. How many employees times 26,000? It's a lot of money for most people, and they're unaware of this. It's quite a simple process. So we're going to be talking about, what does that program look like? How do you qualify? You know, what does it take to get that money from the government? It's a lot easier than you think, but I want to make sure you have all the facts. So that's what we're going to be doing on that session. And then if you have any other questions, you can always set up a consult with us through that to find out more.
Yeah. Even if you didn't have W-2 employees, I'd highly recommend you watch in on this session, because I tell you what, I've got a neighbor I just thought of. I'm like, I'm going to go and talk to him right now because I know he has a lot of W-2 employees. And you may be, you know, for those of you who just mainly have, 1099s, you may be the biggest hookup, the biggest like huge blessing, huge, like, I mean, this is a game changer. Imagine, like, I know you and I were talking about a friend that they got over $250,000 back from the government as, again, incentive for this particular program. So Derek Van Ness, Big Life Financial, thank you so much, both for being a speaker at this event, for being a friend, for being a mentor, and also for excited to, again, for your presentation here. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Josh.
Oh boy, you're in for a good one. All right, this session, my friend Fabi Paolini. Fabi, you and I work together. We're partners. Like, I've hired you. Like, we're working together. We do all. And the reason why, Fabi, alignment is just so, valuable. And alignment is important, when you're, building relationships and joint ventures, strategic alliances, which can make your business grow so much faster than trying to do everything yourself. But Fabi, for this topic right now, what we say in the world makes all the difference, right? And so if you're going to go through all this effort and going to be using all this communication, like, your social media, your website, like everything you're doing, like your tone will really attract and repel people very naturally. And in this, what you're about to present to us is absolutely all about that.
Exactly. We're going to be talking about what you need to do to position yourself as a premium brand and how to attract the people that are actually ready to invest, even if you're charging high ticket prices, like especially if you're charging higher prices, and how to do that by going from what I call pain marketing to gain marketing. So like you were saying, Josh, this is all about communication and how to really make sure that we're speaking to the right people in every piece of our messaging, whether we're talking about your website, we're talking about the emails, your webinar or ads or podcast intro, whatever you're doing. Your message is attracting or repelling people, and we need to make sure that you're saying the right things so that you attract the right people, basically.
This is going to be one of those sessions. You're probably going to, you're going to be listening to Fabi, and then you're going to be looking at your own website and your own social media. And you're going to probably set a lot of action items. I would highly recommend, especially for sessions like this, you might want to upgrade to our VIP level so you can have unlimited access to the recordings, plus, to get into the speaker mixers and everything like that, to talk with other people that are implementing this. Fabi, thank you so much. Let's get to your presentation.
Let's go. All right. So as I was saying, I'm going to be talking to you guys about how to attract ready to invest clients by going from paid marketing to gain marketing. I'm going to quickly introduce myself. I'm Fabi Paolini, brand strategist, and I help clients, coaches, consultants, experts basically upgrade their message, their marketing, and position themselves as premium brands so that they can attract ready to invest clients into their business. I've built a multiple six-figure per year business, generate over $2 million in the last 4 years of my business, and been published in Forbes, Entrepreneur, Honey Books, a whole bunch of places. And we've done this by helping our clients really be able to attract those ready to invest invest people. And so that's literally what I'm going to walk you through, guys, through today, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the 4 secrets to help you attract those ready to invest leads by going from paid marketing to gain marketing. And like I was just telling Josh, what your guys are about to learn is something that you can't unlearn. So pay close attention, because I promise you this is something that you've never heard about before anywhere out there, and it's going to really blow your mind. So let's get into secret number 1 without further ado. And it is all about the fact that your ideal client isn't who you think they are, because a lot of people think that what they need is more and more and more marketing strategies to be able to succeed in their business, right? So it means that they figure out what the magic funnel will be. They believe that all they need to do is just post more on social media and create more content, create more webinars, and go out and do more TikTok videos and get certifications and get more experience and get more followers, like all of these things that they have to do. But a lot of the times, all of the things that they're doing it while speaking to the wrong audience. And the reason why I know that a lot of times people are speaking to the wrong audience is that they're speaking people to speak or attracting people that are freebie seekers, the people who are getting ready to get ready, the people that are like, I'm not really sure if this is what I need, or I was just curious, like, what is it that you do again? Or the ones that are broke and on welfare, or the ones that tell you that they need to think about it, or that they want to manifest the money, or the ones that tell you, I'm so inspired by you, I hope to work with you one day I'll work with you. Like, these are people that are not the right people. You're actually attracting the wrong audience, because you think about it, the people that took the time to go through your funnel or your marketing content or your podcast interviews, whatever you're doing, and they clicked on the link and they got on your calendar and they showed up for the call, there was something in your content that resonated with them. And if this is what you're getting when you get on sales calls, or when you get people in your funnel in one way or another, or whatever you're doing in your launch, it tells me that you're not speaking to the right people. What we want to do instead is learn how to speak more to the people that are ready to invest right now. So for that to happen, we need to get a really clear understanding on who those people actually are, because the people that are ready to invest and are actively looking for solutions to the problems that you can help them with are in a very different place than the people that are not ready right now. They're doing things in a different way. They're thinking in a different way. And they're experiencing the problem that you know how to solve in a very specific way. So your job then becomes to learn how to communicate to the specific problem in a more effective way. So what you need to ask yourself is, what is their actual problem? And the thing is that, in my experience, this is one of the things that people struggle with the most, in understanding what your audience's actual problem is. But it's not just what your audience's problem is what the ready to invest client's problem actually is, right? So a lot of times people understand parts of the problem, but they don't really understand what are the things that people are willing to spend more money on solving right now. And there's a really big difference between those things, and probably a lot of the things that most of the time people are talking about, right? And when you don't understand this effectively, what happens is that everything in your funnel, and we'll show you about this a little bit more, or funnel or marketing strategy, whatever you're doing, it breaks because if your top of the funnel or your free content or whatever is speaking to the wrong problem, well, obviously by the time that you get to the sales pitch, you're going to be speaking to the wrong people as well. So what happens is that a lot of times people think that they know and understand who their ideal audience actually is, right? Because they're like, well, I work with high achievers, I work with coaches, I work with managers, I work with single guys. But what I want you to understand is that your audience is actually a subset of those people. Your people, the ones that are like, this is my perfect client, are the people who are within that group, the ones that are ready to invest right now, the ones that are ready to take action right now. And what we want to do is really make sure that we are communicating to the people that are ready, the people that are action takers, the people that are like, okay, let's go. Because there's a difference between somebody who's like, okay, I am an overweight male. Let's say that you're a weight loss coach for men. And I'm an overweight guy versus I'm the overweight guy who wants to lose weight, right? Overweight guy who has zero interest in losing weight, overweight guy who has all the interest in losing weight and getting more healthy and willing to put money for that. And I'm just randomly giving you guys that example, but There's a difference between the mindset and the way these people act and feel and see their problem. So what we need to do is learn how to speak to the right people. What tends to happen instead is that most people become what I call the Ursula, where you're speaking to the poor, unfortunate soul, right? So you're speaking to the people that are so stuck in their problem that they won't, for the most part, be able to afford working with you, right? So you're communicating to the problem. You're communicating to the people that are in victim mentality, not taking responsibility, not willing to invest. And there, you have to understand that there are definitely ways for you to communicate to different types of people. So if you're getting a lot of the things that we talked about in the beginning, let me think about it, I'm not ready yet, like all of the things, I invested once and it didn't work for me, or I've invested a lot of times in the past and it didn't work for me. I can guarantee that in some way you're using what I call Ursula language, speaking to the poor unfortunate soul that is so stuck in their problem they're never going to move forward, right? So what we really want to do is learn how to shift away from that type of message and speak to the people who are ready to move right now. And what I invite you guys to do is actually take a close look at your content, and you're going to realize that inadvertently, you're very likely speaking to these people and you haven't even realized that. Instead, when you speak to the right people, these are people that not only do they enroll with ease and they buy because they're called to buy. They're like, I just feel like I had to join. I just felt like I had to move. They enroll with ease. And the most important thing is that they get results. Because again, if you think about the people within your current audience or current clients that have gotten results, they are probably the people, or they've gotten the best results. They're very likely the people who were the action takers, who were the ones who were like, okay, I'm in, I'm willing to do whatever it takes. What I want you to understand is that there's a very specific way for you to be able to communicate to those people versus let me just communicate to anybody, let me enroll anybody, and then get a whole bunch of people in there that are not necessarily getting the right results. So the bottom line to all of this is that you want to make sure that you're speaking to the people who are ready right now by speaking to their very specific problems, okay? And when you do that, it really allows you to attract the best type of client. But again, the right people, we're talking about the fact that they have very specific problems, but they also have a very specific way of viewing their problem. So we really need to understand, okay, how do I communicate to this person in a way that brings them in and not repels the people that are ready to go, if that makes sense. So I'll give you an example of what I mean with this. This is my client, Che, and she was really struggling with sales. She's a breakthrough coach, kind of like a general life coach, essentially. And, waiting to launch her program, a new program that she wanted to launch at a higher price, and really didn't know how to do it because she was attracting a lot of people that were the wrong fit. So this is an example of what her brand and her message looked like before, right? And it was very kind of like lifestyle and performance coach, kind of just general and not really speaking to, okay, who is the audience? What is going on? How do I speak to the ones that are ready to take action, ready to move forward? So what we did is we shifted everything in her brand, obviously visually, we'll talk about the visual part in just a moment, but also her communication, how she was speaking to her audience, how she was, even using these things here, like you're ready for more, how she was speaking to them and leading with desire more than leading with pain and understanding the audience's problem. Once we shifted all of that, not only did she make the easiest sale conversation that she's ever had at a higher price point, but I literally, how funny, I had a conversation with her yesterday and she was telling me, Fabi, every person I got on the phone with is like, they're ready to go. Like, it's insane how much of a difference it has made in terms of the people that I attract. So when you are speaking to the right people, you're going to change the level of conversations that you have and the level of enrollment. So that is basically part one of all of this. But the second piece of all of this, the second secret, is learning how to position your offer as premium. Again, we talked about going from pain marketing to gain marketing, not being the Ursula, learning how to speak to your audience's desires. But then the second thing that we need to understand is, how do you position your offer as premium? What you need to understand is that premium, ready to invest clients are looking for premium solutions, right? They want something that feels different because the ready to invest person, they very likely already invested in the past, or they've already at least done their research and kind of looked for other solutions. So what we want to make sure that you're doing is presenting your offer as something different, presenting your offer in a premium way. And you do that by getting very specific in how you help them, how you are showing up for your audience. Because again, for the ready to invest person, it really comes down to you showing that what you do is going to be the ultimate solution, or a really big step forward towards the solution, that like the thing that they need to be doing, right? And what I love doing is giving a very specific example that shows you what I mean. So let's use this little argument. Imagine that you are on a Saturday afternoon with your kid, and they're on their skateboard and they fall, they fracture their foot, or they break, it seems like they have a foot fracture in their ankle, and you're like, okay, I need to take them to the doctor, right? So let's say, for the sake of the argument, you don't have insurance, or it doesn't matter, you have to pay it out of pocket, and across the street from your house there's this medical center. Doctor number one over here is a pediatrician, meaning they cure kids from colds and viruses and rashes and pink eyes and falls and fractures as well, right? But right next to that office is another one that says that they're a pediatrician specializing in bone and ankle problems that come as a result of skateboarding accidents, and they have successfully done surgeries on children who have gone on to have a completely normal ankle, compete in sports professionally, and have a future without any sort of problem ever, right? So you have doctor number one, general doctor, number two, very specific doctor that solves a very specific problem your child has. Doctor number two is 2 times more expensive. Which doctor do you want to go to right now? Probably you're going to want to go to doctor number two, because they are so specialized in the problem that you have that you're going to be like, this is the person that I need to take my child to right away, right? So the moment that you're presented with a specific option, you have now become a high ticket client, because you would do anything to solve that problem, even if it's more expensive. So my point with this little story and analogy is that you need to make sure that you are giving your clients or your audience a solution that feels different from anything else that they've experienced in the past, right? When it's not clear what you do, and when it's not clear that what you do is different, you become one more. So oftentimes people will use things like, well, I'm going to help you lose weight. I'm going to help you reach your potential, live your best life, grow your business. All of those things are good, but it's not specific enough. Anybody could do any of those things. You need to go deeper and go way more specific in your message, because if you're too broad, you become that general pediatrician that is like, okay, awesome, you're making sales, but there's not a wait list to work with you right now. And part of the way that you do that is by presenting your offer as a framework or process that becomes the vehicle to success, right? So what that means is that you want to create, ideally, or present your offer as a framework, a process that is completely unique and different from the things that they've experienced before, becoming essentially the bridge between where your clients are and where they want to be. So your process is the thing that's going to take them there. And we do that by infusing your process with your stories, your skills, your successes, your experience, your little tiny frameworks within your framework, right? So essentially we're showing them, or positioning the thing that you're selling as something different, so it feels like it's the only offer for them. It's the only option for them, so they want it and they need it. Hopefully this is making sense for you. If you're out here selling modules, hours, sessions, blah blah, that anybody could buy or anybody out there could sell, you're not doing anything different. But if you're infusing your framework with your stories, your skills, your successes, your little tiny way of doing things, it makes what you do completely different. But the other thing that I want you to understand is that if your price is too low, your audience is also going to be turned off, right? And I'm literally about to prove that to you. So what I mean is, sometimes people think, well, let me start down here and then little by little raise my prices. Well, let's go back to this example, right? So we said doctor number one, general pediatrician, doctor number two, specific doctor that cures ankle fractures from kids that fall from skateboards. What if this was a price point? Doctor number one, $5,000. Doctor number two, $500. Don't you feel like immediately you would be like, oh, why is this such a big difference? Like, even if this were $50,000 and this is $500, even more, it's like, I will do whatever I can. Or like, this feels like kind of sketchy, right? So pricing is also going to affect your positioning. So you need to make sure that you are pricing yourself accordingly. And if you want to really attract those premium clients, the high ticket people, the ready to invest buyers, you need to make sure that you're pricing your offer at the right place. And I'll prove it to you. You can go to tiffany's.com right now and buy a $1,500 gold paperclip right now. So if you're here selling a transformational service for your clients, whatever you're doing, whether it's a health, wealth, wellness, personal, like relationships, personal development, whatever it is that you do, and you're undercharging yourself, what are you even doing, right? When you position your offer as premium, it allows you to attract different types of people. But this is about showing them how you're doing things in a different way, and also pricing that according to, like, to match the result that you deliver. Great example of this is my friend, my client, Gav. Gav came to me, basically a weight loss coach for, at the time, men and women. Kind of very general message, and you can kind of see what his website used to look like before, right? Fitness, nutrition, mindset. Okay, good, but what, like, isn't that what every single, like, wellness coach does, or weight loss coach, fitness, nutrition, and mindset? Why is that different? What does that tell me that's different, right? So we took a good look at what were the things that he did different, who his audience really was, and how we could turn that into a framework. And this is what that looks like now. Helping busy professional men lose 20 to 30 pounds in 12 weeks without eliminating carbs or alcohol, so that they can perform optimally in the boardroom and in the bedroom. That is highly specific. And then from there, we went on to creating this framework, which we called the Fat Loss Code, where we talked about foundations, mind, sleep, stress management, and sex testosterone. So all of these different areas where it wasn't like fitness, nutrition, mindset, but it was like, okay, what else can we bring that makes what we do different? Since then, his business has radically changed, signed 6 back-to-back clients, started enrolling clients into his year-long mastery program, like really crushing the game. And all of this because he was able to position his offer and price in a way that was appealing to the ready-to-invest clients as well. Hopefully you guys are following along. That moves us to secret number 3, which is all about showing up as a premium brand. Because at the other side of all of this puzzle is, okay, great, I get my messaging. I get that I need to communicate to the ready to invest people. I get that I need to speak to the people who are ready to go. I get that I need to show my offer in a premium way, but I also need to show my value. I need to show that I am like I am a premium brand as well. Example I love to give, imagine that you are brought in this chef from like a Michelin star restaurant in Paris. You brought him home to wherever you guys live, and you are launching this restaurant, and you're like, well, let me serve people in paper plate. let me start here and charge premium prices for it, but let me serve it here kind of to see how it goes. What is that telling people about you and your restaurant and the food that you're delivering? Like, who's gonna pay high ticket prices to be served on a paper plate? Whereas if you're served like this, I mean, I don't even need to say anything. What does this say about the restaurant, right? You right now might be serving your people on a paper plate. So we need to make sure that you're presenting your brand, your offer. Like, again, this is about speaking to gain marketing, not pain marketing. We're talking about being a premium brand, being more desirable. Is this something that's more desirable or that? Like, I don't even need to say anything. And I'll show you an example with one of my clients, Christine Lucan, who is a financial coach. This is what her brand used to look like. It wasn't terrible. Obviously it wasn't, but it wasn't a premium brand. It was an okay brand, right? We came in, redid her message, redid her branding, we did everything. This is what that brand looks like right now. And obviously the difference is pretty massive between this and that, right? You can see how this brand is speaking to the person who's like, wow, this is a premium brand. Like, she's speaking to the next level type of client, right? That's what you need to make sure that you're doing in the way that you're presenting your offer or your brand as well. Because the bottom line from that is that you need to build a brand that looks premium and that speaks to the most elevated version of your audience. All of this leads us to the final secret, which is my secret weapon. So we've talked about about the importance of speaking to the ready to invest client. We've talked about positioning your offer as premium. We've talked about making sure that your brand looks premium. So now we want to talk about what it takes to actually attract those ready to invest buyers right now, right? But first, let's talk about the old conventional marketing model and why it doesn't work. So this is what I call transaction-based marketing, which only focuses on like, let's market, like, let me get clients right now. Let me do what it takes. Let me go on Instagram and TikTok and Reels and YouTube and let me do a webinar funnel or a video sales letter. Let me get on let me do all of these things to get more visibility. And okay, I'll kind of like have my offer in place, but not really pay that much attention to my message. My message is I work with women, period. So what happens is that inevitably this is going to fall apart. There's no way it doesn't, because you're building your brand and your business on thin air, basically, right? So what happens is that because you're doing it like that, even if you're doing like a lot of marketing and a lot of visibility stuff, but it's not necessarily speaking to the right people, obviously it's going to be hard for you to make sales. Again, the group of people within your audience that is actually ready to buy is going to be really small, and it's just going to not make any sense with your audience either. So this is literally the reason why a lot of people are struggling with making more high ticket sales and scaling their business. Instead, we want to do what I call the brand strategy pyramid framework, right? And this is all about building an intention-based marketing, essentially, where you get the clarity on your message, really understanding, okay, who is my audience? What makes me different? How do I position myself as a premium offer? And then how do I create a marketing strategy that naturally drives people in through all of these things? So this is literally what we want to do. And we want to do that by making sure that you're creating a message that builds demand, that pre-sells your offer, because the truth is that your content, your lead generation, your strategies, whatever you're doing should pre-sell your offer, should get people to the end of the webinar or the end of the video saying, I don't even know what you sell, but I want more of it. Like, I want more. And we do that by really making sure that we're presenting our premise, our hypothesis, our point of view, so that you end up attracting the type of people that are like, this is exactly what I need. The action takers, the leaders, the people that are self-led, the people that don't need hand-holding, the ones that are resourceful, that get results, right? That's what we want. So what we need to do for that is to understand, okay, who my audience is, what is their problem, and how do I speak to them in a way that you're building that demand, you're pre-selling your offer, you're really attracting the people your way. And the bottom line to all of this is that you need to craft a magnetic marketing brand message that builds demand for what you do and attracts those ready to invest buyers. And this is literally what happened with my client, Lynn, who is a coach for product managers, helping them kind of step up to leadership places. Same sort of story. She had a great marketing strategy, was already generating about $75K per month in her business consistently. We came in, up-leveled her message, up-leveled her marketing strategy, really focused on building that brand strategy pyramid framework, grew to now, by this point, it's been 3 consecutive months of her hitting over 100K per month in her business. So this is a few months ago now. And then her conversion rate shot up from about 25% on sales calls to literally, I feel like it's insane, but it's 100% true. 70% close rate on sales calls. What? Like, this is what happens when you learn how to speak to the right people. And like I was saying before, it's really all about presenting your premise, your point of view, your hypothesis, so that people understand this is what they need right now. So what you need to understand is that it really, all of this comes down to your message. How do I create a brand message that really communicates value, that speaks to the right people, and that kind of like magnetizes those people in? What I would suggest is find the fastest and most effective path to success, because obviously, as simple as all of these things might sound, it's complex. It's not as simple, right? There's nuances and details that need to be in place for you to be able to really make sure that you're attracting those right people and that your message is speaking to the right people. At the core of all of this is messaging. Messaging is really, for me, and more than messaging, it's premium messaging. Making sure that we're speaking to the ready to invest people, that you're noticing and realizing, how do I infuse my message with language that attracts the people that are ready to go versus the people that are like, oh, let me think about it a little bit more, right? That is really what we want to focus on. So kind of summing up the things we talked about. Number one, we talked about making sure that you're speaking to the right audience, the person that is ready to invest right now. Number two, we talked about the fact that we really need to make sure that you're positioning your offer as a premium solution by turning it into a framework, turning it into something that feels different and unique from anything else they've experienced. Number three, we talked about design, making sure that visually your brand is really showing your value. And number four, we talked about the brand strategy pyramid framework and how we want to basically infuse our marketing with basically build demand for what we do by creating a message that really speaks about why this process, building up your frame, your premise, your hypothesis, and the way that you do your things. So I hope that this was super helpful. I know that we went really, really deep, but I have something really, really awesome for the VIP attendees. So if you're not in there, you definitely need to upgrade to that, because what we'll do is that my team is going to get on the phone with you for about 15 to 20 minutes, and they will look at your current marketing, whether we're talking about your website, whether we're talking about whatever it is that you're doing. And maybe if you haven't launched yet, you're in the process of launching, what we'll do is we'll kind of workshop with you and give you very precise feedback on exactly what you need to shift in your message to be able to attract better quality leads, the people that are ready to invest. So this is, by the way, this is not a sales call, just to make it clear. This is a high value call where we're going to actually give you very specific feedback. So there's three things we're going to do on the call. We're going to get clear on exactly who your ideal client, the ready to invest person is. So we're going to get very clear on who that person is. We're going to talk about what you need to do to position your offers as premium and how much you should be charging for that offer. And then we're going to give you the exact formula to consistently attract and enroll those clients at your new price points. My goal for you is to get total and absolute brand message clarity at the end of this call. So this is again for the VIP attendees. Somewhere around the page, you'll find exactly what to do and where to book that call right now. I hope that this was super helpful. I know that I probably left your brain like at 1,000,000 per hour, but I know also that this is extremely valuable, something you've never heard anywhere else. So make sure you upgrade to the VIP version if you haven't yet. And if you have, go ahead and book the call. And I can't wait to talk to you really soon. Ciao.
Yeah, definitely do that VIP call. If you've got a diamond, you get, that's all part of the speaker gifts. And by now we'll send an email out shortly. Don't let me forget, Sabrina. Kind of just racking up, and we'll itemize everything you get. It's a lot of value. I mean, and most importantly is you get proximity to like amazing leaders that are just really good at what they do. So really simple. You just go to FameandProfit.com/upgrade. You'll see that on any of the video play pages, you'll see the button where it'll say, hey, click your upgrade if you want the if you want those completely optional. $47 gets you access, unlimited access to all the recordings. And then if you want that plus all of the speaker freebies, and then there's a final mixer and closing party. And I tell you, we made a lot of connections happen in today's speaker VIP mixer. It was all about what do you do? Who do you need? Bam, bam, got your person, making connections happen. So that's when we do mixers, that's what it's all about. And again, all high level leaders, not, folks that are, we want to make sure that we can, always get just amazing, generous leaders in the room with you. So, and on that front too, there is, tomorrow at 9, I think we start up again. And we're going to start with, tomorrow is all about scaling and building. If you want to grow an amazing team, create an amazing culture, start building systems so that you don't have to work so hard, tomorrow is going to be your day. So make sure you don't miss a single session. Now, there are way more sessions that the live stream is really, we could only pick about 50% of the sessions that were available. There are over 40 speakers whose sessions you can watch right now. If you have gold, you can watch all of them. If you're just general attendee, you could watch all of today's sessions, including folks, we have Farzad Rashidi on SEO and content marketing, Lonnie Ayers on creating high converting content, Chris Cold on community building, Jenny Wright on the 5 ways online events skyrocket your sales, Katie Brinkley, 5-step strategy to selling in the DMs without being spammy. You can watch all of those right now. And Simone Canego, find your Kilimanjaro and climb past self-doubt. So powerful. And tomorrow we've got a full slate. So I tell you what, we over deliver, I'd say. Elisa, our COO, any closing comments on today's event?
It's been a very full and fantastic day taking you through the customer journey. I mean, all of the sales talk that we've had today.
Oh my
if
gosh.
you don't implement even a 10th of the knowledge that was shared, your business is going to miss out. And so tomorrow we're going to be talking about how to scale and build a business. All the things that you need to do as a CEO. And so be sure to check us out tomorrow. We've got, 14 speakers, which is more than we've had these last 2 days. So we're delivering even more value. So if you are a general pass holder, be sure to upgrade to gold so that you have unlimited access to all of this. And if you want to have any number of speaker gifts that they have been so kind to share, and that includes free consultations, free assessments, their slideshow presentations, then be sure to upgrade to Diamond and you will have access to all of that. So with that, Josh.
Yeah.
Ooh, what a
one final thing. So if you didn't catch my keynote, wow. And that is going to be, we're going to give us a few hours. We're going to get that up this evening. Do not miss that. And we'll make sure that that is available through tomorrow close of event. So we'll send an email out to all attendees. Watch that. You can watch that on demand, watch the whole thing, because I'm going to step you through step by step 1,400 conversations with 6, 7, 8-figure business leaders. One of the main questions I ask them, where do your best clients come from? I have taken all of that data and I've condensed it down. And listen, if you have any concerns about revenue from however you derive that, I'm going to tell you exactly how it gets done. And I'm going to make it so simple. The comments were fire like during that thing, because it was, I tried to just I'm like, okay, let me know where I lose you on this, right? And try to break it down as simply as possible of if you're not happy or you've got the up and down revenue, which that happens as a business, we're get that predictable, scalable, and help you, do about anything you want in business, because there aren't too many problems you can't solve with proper application of revenue in business. Man, I had some other good tweetables in that presentation. I'm gonna have to go back and watch it because some of those were totally on the fly. All right. So
looking forward to seeing everybody tomorrow.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Josh, Elisa, Kimberly, Sabrina, and thank you so much, everybody, for watching. We'll see you tomorrow, bright-eyed. We have an amazing day tomorrow. See you.